Hello, everybody.
Yo, what's going on?
Welcome to the Anime Mystics podcast. Forget the number. We'll just say welcome. I think it's 40 or something.
Wow,
We're getting up there.
wow.
Um, so I'm Roman,
Steven Sanosuke-sama.
and we're not doing the weekly anime this time.
No.
Uh, we figured since we're pretty close to the end of the season, we just wait until the end and do our season wrap up instead of doing it this week. So this week we got something a little different.
Mhm.
We're going to be talking about some, I guess, school-related anime
Yeah,
since it's getting close to back to school.
it's back to school season.
Not for me, but I know you're still taking classes,
Oh yeah,
and all the kids are doing their Zoom classes or whatever it is that they do nowadays.
us too. Yeah.
Um, I'm just at home.
Well, yeah, you're making these videos. You're
Yeah,
you're doing education of a different type.
right.
So,
Showing you how not to do an anime reaction
well, it's it's a interesting time right now, and everyone, if you're in school, is making the best of it, and it's I feel that it's fun to watch some of the anime takes on high school and school life, and you could just pick one. There's animes and as far back as kindergarten to middle school to high school to college. Rental Girlfriend is college.
channel.
Uzaki-chan is college.
Hmm.
And then you have God of High School, which actually doesn't have much to do with high school, unless you're, like Roman says, 36 years old in high school. So,
Yeah,
but there's a lot of school and school-centered shows. So yeah, we'll gonna take a break from the usual and talk school shows.
yeah. I got a list, and Sano's got
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I should have picked Persona.
a list. I was gonna go. Was it Uzaki, Misfit, and Kanojo? But
No,
no.
that's solid.
But then
Solid.
that'd just be talking about the weekly anime.
I mean, yeah, this would just be another recording. Yeah, another episode.
Right. Um. So yeah, well, you'll find out which ones we're talking about when we get to them. But for now, as far as updates for the channel, nothing much. But I did decide on the shows I'm going to be watching next season. Let me see if I can find my photo because I did take a photo. Oh, here it is. Because I couldn't write it down. It was like getting late. Uh,
Technology.
so I got 10 shows,
Well,
but I'm only going to be doing reactions to 5 of them.
okay,
The other 5 are going to be review only. I just haven't decided which ones I'm going to react to and which ones I'm going to review.
okay.
Um, but as far as the titles, we got the new Crunchyroll webtoon series that's coming out next season. Noblesse, I think is what it's called, about the vampires or whatever they are. I think they're vampires.
Go find out when we watch it.
Yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen,
Mhm.
which is a supernatural series. Um, Maojo de Oyasumi, which I believe is the series with the princess that's sleeping in the Demon King's castle or something like that.
Right, because it's like magician sleep or magician's asleep. Majo magician and Oyasumi is good night.
Yeah.
Good night magician.
Well, I know she's a princess.
Okay.
Maybe that's further down here. But the next one is Golden Kamuy season 3
Of course.
because that comes out next season, and I'm looking forward to that.
Hmm.
I think they just announced that not too long ago, and now it's like coming out.
Was it delayed?
I don't think so.
Mm.
Because I don't remember them announcing it like right when the season ended,
Hmm.
but I do remember seeing the announcement for it.
It was gonna happen.
I just don't remember when they announced it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was looking forward to it anyway. I was hoping they would do a third season.
Oh yeah. No, it's surprisingly popular. So
Yeah, I remember you saying there was a bunch of like cutouts and everything in Japan.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
There
like
was it had its section, and then it was on the end caps and everything. So yeah.
got its fan base.
Yeah, and even on like when I would post about it on social media, the response to it would be pretty positive. So I was surprised because it doesn't seem like a whole lot. It's not like super mainstream, but there it does have a fan base and people do enjoy it. And I think we said it in older episodes, but they actually consulted with an Ainu specialist,
Yep.
someone that studies the Ainu culture and is a historian, and so that's why it's so accurate and it really pays respect to that culture. If you ever played Samurai Showdown, then Nakaruru and her sister Nirimururu, those are Ainu types.
Okay.
And then in Kansai Collection, the character Kamui is at least dressed in that fashion. I think she also has a dialect or a speech that's in that area. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't. I remember you saying that they did get a consult that I guess expert,
Hmm.
which is cool because then you get it more, like you said, accurate and well, especially historically accurate because this does take place in the past. Next one is the Dragon Quest anime coming out. Uh, the only thing I know from Dragon Quest is when it was Dragon Warrior for the NES, the very first one. That's the only one I've ever played. But I know it was the art is done by Akira Toriyama.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it's very obvious that it's Akira Toriyama. Like you can just tell his art style no matter where you go. Like what was it? I think that fighting game Tobal was
Hmm.
also done by Akira Toriyama,
Was. Yeah.
and I think there was something else. Oh, Chrono Trigger
Correct.
was Akira Toriyama.
Correct.
But yeah, they. I remember seeing the announcement for the Dragon Quest anime. I just didn't know it was coming out this coming up season. So yeah, I added it to the list. We got Iwa Kakeru Sport Climbing Girls,
Oh yeah.
which is the etchy series for the season. I'm assuming a lot of armpit fetishists are going to be happy about this one. I think.
I'm not gonna say anything yet because for all I know that just could be the outfits, the tracksuits, and all that. But we'll see what happens. If there's a lot of crotch shots, then I'll know what audience they're going for.
Yeah. This one's called Tanikaku Kawaii, which is the romance anime. Apparently, it deals with this couple that just got married in their life, so it's kind of like a slice of life romance series.
Good.
This one just looked funny. It's called Kuma 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 Bear. It's an isekai comedy
Oh my god.
where where this girl gets brought into this game and she's got this like bear costume that's super OP.
Okay.
So it's embarrassing to wear, but she wears it anyway because it's OP. So
So she has a kigurumi on.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, these last two I don't really remember too well. Um, Majo no Tabi Tabi. I don't remember anything really about that one.
Doesn't ring a bell.
And Adachi to Shimamura, which says Shoujo Ai series.
Some magic girl.
Hmm.
Okay. All right.
And the other one's an adventure series, but I don't remember too much. I think it's just a generic series. That might be one of the ones I just reviewed.
The generic series.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
But the others, I'm gonna have to think about which ones I'm gonna review and which ones I'm just gonna do reactions to. I'll probably definitely do a reaction for Golden Kamuy
Mm-hmm.
because I've done the other two seasons and I'm not just gonna do a review for that because I want to watch it and have you all watch it with me. The rest I'll think about. Or if you know, or if you have suggestions on which ones I should review and do reactions for, let me know.
I don't even. Maybe in the next episode we're gonna have to take a look at
These shows.
probably like what's the whole list, the whole coming soon list, and then get an idea. Because I'm learning actually from your list right now. So this is all news to me. I didn't even know. I knew that they did that Dragon Quest like 3D CG thing on Netflix.
Yeah.
I knew that was a thing, but I didn't know it was getting a full fledged on series. Is it animated series or?
The Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
It's animated. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a kigurumi. It's cute design though, and she has bears on her gloves. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like it says that it's embarrassing to wear, but she does it anyway because it's super OP.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
So, yeah, that one might be interesting to do a reaction for.
I look forward to talking about this.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and I believe those will start beginning of next month. So I'll have to take a look at the actual dates, but
It's coming.
it'll be coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's so funny that most of these shows are already just wrapping up, and especially with like Kanojo, where it's like episode 10, and we're just getting to the last girl.
Oh, they're just introducing her?
They're just introducing her too. The episode ended with them talking about her, and then she's in the preview. So, yeah.
Okay. Better late than never, I guess.
All right.
Just teased her throughout the entire opening, and now you're bringing her in.
And they gave her a character spotlight too when they were promoting the show. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So no, when's Rental Girlfriend season 2? Well, I'm sure that they'll say it probably at the end of the show.
Yeah,
But
most
yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
Just need the Misfit Demon King Academy season 2.
Oh, really? So you're already bought into that, huh?
I'm bought in.
You're in? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's cool. I'm just kind of cruising with it though. It's kind of like I'm feeling it, but it's also kind of like I'm not like super like I gotta watch it every week. It's kind of like I watch it. It's got a good concept to it.
Yeah.
But and I think that the supporting cast I think helps carry that show because if it was just like Anos Adventures, it would just be like I'm done. but yeah. But all right. Which didn't make the cut for today's episode of High Schools. It's high school shows.
Nope.
But that's okay.
It's fine. Maybe the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other updates?
That's pretty much it. Still no update on One Piece. Like I said, whenever I have an announcement on when we're going to start that up again, I'll let you all know. But for right now, there's nothing. Yeah.
Watch party next Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Or Thursday, September 24th?
Yeah, I think you said the 24th.
Yeah, September 24th over in Discord. We're doing Blend S.
First 4 episodes.
The first 4. I was thinking about skipping around to kind of change it up, but because you said that you have never seen it, that's why I was all like, all right, I think we're going to start on the beginning and just do the first 4 because this is the same thing with like Kanojo and a couple other shows where the other like the third or the fourth girl Miyu she gets introduced kind of midway through the show and then Hideki the trap that everyone loves to meme he gets introduced like around episode like 9 or 10 so not as late as Sumi but like right there where it's almost like misses basically the bulk of the jokes so
yeah
but yeah. So that's what I was kind of thinking, like maybe we should skip around, but because you haven't seen it, I think that yeah, we'll just go in order.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So that'll be there. The announcements are on Discord on the Facebook page. We'll get them up to Twitter, and then I'll be reminding everyone occasionally to drop on in. And if you have suggestions, as always, throw them up. I did thoroughly enjoy Katana Gatari, so that was a good call on that one.
Good. Did you
So,
end up watching any more, or
no, because I actually dedicated this entire weekend to doing my homework. Yeah, what a square, what a lamer. But now as a result, now I have nothing but free time, and I'm caught up currently as of last week on all the shows. So now that I have this free time, that's actually the plan. Is I'm gonna grind in FGO and watch the rest of the episodes of Katana Gatari on my own. So
nice?
So yeah, so that was a fun watch, and um yeah what's her name? It's the Subame, right? That's the girl.
The girl?
Yeah, Subame Suzume.
I think Suzume.
Suzume.
Let me look.
She's the what's we call it? She's Priscilla, or no, not Priscilla. Anastasia in ReZero, the one that controls the twins, or the twin cat people, the twin siblings, the
Oh,
cats,
okay,
the cat,
yeah.
the magic cats. She was the other goddess candidate.
Togome.
Togome. Wow, I was off. So let's see what happens when I just blur it out of my mind because I'm doing other things. But yeah, yeah. We haven't seen her at all. We opened the ReZero season 2 with Krush. We saw Krush for a minute, but yeah, yeah, because it was Emilia, Krush, Felt, and Anastasia as the goddess candidates.
Yeah.
So, and didn't she also wasn't what's his face also working under her too? One of the knights.
Um,
It wasn't. It
it
wasn't.
might have
I think the
been
purple
what's his
haired one.
name? Yeah, the one that beat up Subaru when he said he was Emilia's knight and he got super offended by it.
Yeah.
Got triggered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had to
So
take his anger out on him. That guy, man, I can't remember his name.
yeah, and he hasn't been in this season either. So yeah.
But it was a big part of stopping Beetle Guy. So,
Yeah. Right.
but ever since then, no, he hasn't made any appearance. In
Well,
fact, it's all been focused on one whole section. So,
right. I was kind of surprised, but okay.
I also forgot that this season was split into two.
I was like, it has to be, because like you said, we're still stuck on this one part. So I'm like, that has to go on. The first season, maybe it was more condensed in the first season because they did so much, but the first season too was like 24, 25 episodes.
Yeah,
So
this one
good,
I think is 13, 12, 13, something like that.
good,
And then I think the second part of the second season is like a after this season or something like
good. I missed 26 episode seasons, man. I miss the good old days.
that.
So, but yeah, um,
That was the standard.
yeah, right. But yeah, so she's and she was also Tamari in Naruto. So the one that was with Gara, the yeah,
Tamari?
Tamari, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. The big fan.
yeah,
Okay.
so she's been an active voice actress. So props to her. So yeah, I'm gonna keep watching that, and maybe in a future episode I'll just be like, yeah, so that Katana Gatari was actually pretty dope. So, but yeah, but we're not talking about that today. So
No.
that's it. So next watch party, ReZero.
Blend S.
Blend S, which is nothing tragic or messed up as
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe
Felix
he's
Felix versus Hugh Daddy.
yeah. That's what it's gonna be.
Oh man. So yeah, it's
Versus
alright.
Astolfo.
Trap battle. Trap battle. But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. That's it for the updates. Again, it wasn't that many. Um,
We just stretched it out to make it seem like it's a lot.
yeah, we had to get to that 18-minute mark.
That's a habit on this channel, but okay. We're at 18 minutes and I can start cussing. All right.
Yeah, we're
You
at 18
can't
minutes.
cuss. You can't cuss in the first 10 minutes of a video. That's the rumor that they said.
Really?
Yeah, they said if you cuss in the first 10 minutes, then you get yellow check marked.
Wow.
But you can cuss afterwards. After that, it's open season. So, but no, it's all good.
Well, I mean, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe something will slip out, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Dad, don't worry about it. You're 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
All right. So, did you want to go on one of yours first, or?
Oh, you know what? Like I said, I've combined two of mine because I think that it was a genre that was really influential to me in the mid 2000s, basically. Um, so we're talking. The theme is high school or school based shows,
Yes.
and for me, the ones that and Roman and I both talked about this off air in our pre broadcast, where it's hard because you see so many shows that take place in schools or in high schools when you need to pull one out of memory, they all just kind of blend together. They all just kind of like intermingle, and it's hard to like distinguish. So for me, I actually decided to go with Tenjo Tenge and Ikitosen because I feel that it's the battle high school tropes. I don't see them a whole lot these days, but I feel like God of High School kind of throws that back to me because it's about those like 17 to 19-year-olds that are just kind of fighting it out, and occasionally an adult wants to get in there and he gets whooped too. So I really think it starts with Tenjo Tenge, and Tenjo Tenge, the manga, which I'm more familiar with. um the anime I watched for a while, but it wasn't the same, and I heard that it really went off the rails after the flashback arc. So I kind of dropped the anime, but I watched or I read the manga all the way up until a particular point. But to give a little bit of background, the manga was drawn by Ogre, and Ogre was actually a hentai artist. So he decided to take his popularity of drawing lewd and he combined it with a battle high school story and it actually stuck out. Thing is, turns out he actually can do a great story, so it's not just about him just being lewd. And he basically drew on or did like whole on fornication scenes. It wasn't like you still got the white light, but he wasn't above displaying hair. So he and nips and boobs all over the place. He was not he wasn't trying to hide it. He also did Air Gear. So I don't know if you're
Yeah,
familiar with Air Gear, but
I've
that
heard
was
of it.
also
I've heard of Eric.
yeah, that was his second series. So towards the end of Tenjo Tenge, then he started doing Air Gear, and then I think he just kind of dropped Tenjo Tenge because the last I heard, it didn't really have a resolution to it, or it had kind of like a one he just threw out there because he's like, all right, I'm done with this, I'm moving on to Air Gear, and I think Air Gear was a bit more popular than Tenjo Tenge was, but it still kind of had the same things. Like he wasn't above, even though it didn't have full on sex scenes as much as bad as Tenjo Tenge did. It still had its like just boobs just popping out of nowhere. He wasn't above that. But Tenjo Tenge, and if I was more familiar with Airgate, I'd probably throw it in here too, because it also had to do with like high schools and schools and all that. But Tenge was basically the main dude shows up and he's all like, "I'm a badass," and it's a combat high school, so everyone has to fight. Everyone has to know how to fight because if you don't, then our school can be taken over by another rival school. If their school's fighters beat our fighters, and then we're gonna be their servants, their subordinates. So that's the nature is that fighting in high school is actually encouraged because that's how everyone does shows their dominance.
Right.
And so this dude shows up, and so he just him and his friend Bob, who's voiced by Michi Shinichiro.
Bob.
Bob. They're just going down the hallways and they're just whooping everybody, and then all of a sudden, Aya, who is just basically like she conserves her chi by basically shrinking down into a little girl, so kind of like Nezuko.
Okay.
And so the little girl shows up and she's just like, "What are you doing in my school?" And he's just all like, "What do you get out of here, little girl? I'm gonna dominate your school now. I'm taking over." And she's like, "No, you're not." And so then she just flings him out of the window and sends him crashing through the girls' locker room. And of course, he lands on her little sister Maya. So that's her plush right there. And their family has this tradition that who they basically have to marry whoever beats them. And so because he fell on her in the shower, and of course you see everything.
He
She
technically beat her.
Yeah, basically she was knocked out, so he KO. So she's just all like, okay, now I found my fiance. He's my lover now. And he's just all like, I don't want anything to do with you. You're crazy, chick. And but this was the issue that I had with you, Mita. Remember where I said, like, can she fight though? Because she's always wanting to fight, and can she hold her own? Turns out she can hold her own.
Yeah.
Maya and Aya actually were combat capable. There was never an instance really with Maya and Aya where they couldn't hold their own. So, like I just said, right in the beginning, Aya, the older sister, just flung the main character Nagi right out through the window like he was nothing.
Yeah.
So there was never really like one of these shonen jump like, oh, I'm such a great female character. Oh no, I lose all the fights I'm ever in. Or, unless I'm like really, really in like the power of 10,000 spirits and descendants power me. I keep thinking of like Sakura from Naruto. But I mean, it was rampant in Bleach and all that, and look how much they struggle in like One Piece and all that. So that's kind of where I'm aiming for. That didn't really happen in Tenjo Tenge. Oh, Great was not afraid of making his female characters badass and not really rely on anybody. Like they could win on their own, no outside interference, none of this. Find the inner power that's asleep inside you. Is like no, when they fight, they fight. They just go. Um, but Nagi landed on Maya, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna marry you. And then he's like, okay. But so then after that all happens, and then Aya's just like, dude, this guy's a loser. Why, Maya, you're better than this. She's like, no, he beat me. I'm gonna marry him. So it's like, okay, whatever. Then stuff happens, and word gets around that these dudes at the school, they were making trouble and they almost won. So they start kind of coming at the school and all that. and it turns out that Nagi and Bob were not really as strong as they thought they were, so they need to fight to improve themselves and get better. And then it turns out that there's a bunch of bad blood and rivalry between Maya and Aya's family and involved people. So, basically people start coming out because they think that the Maya and Aya and their family are weak now. So, Nagi and Bob kind of get involved in all that, and then the storyline kind of expands beyond that. And the flashback arc, I think, is what really made that show so popular, because you got to see their Maya and Aya's older brother Sheen, who used to be the old head of the school, but he went crazy and killed himself because of the inner power that they have. That's like, I think it's like the dragon. Basically, it's if I remember right, it's locked in the sword.
Okay.
So Maya and Aya both have one, but Maya carries it because Maya can actually handle it. Aya actually does not have any interaction with the family's special abilities, so that's why she's just, even though she's powerful, she can't access it. But Maya, the younger sister, can. And then there's the whole thing. Then Shin, it caused him to go crazy, and he basically died as a result of him trying to get the power. And then it was a whole thing with them and their friend Bunishichi, who was his best friend. That was Shin's best friend, and he was just kind of like one of those. Oh, do I really have to type, or do I really have to fight? It's just so boring. Oh, it's so aggravating. And then it turns out he's really strong,
Yeah.
so he doesn't really have a particular style either. So he kind of reminds me of Han from God of High School, where it's just kind of like a brawler, street brawler style.
Right. Right.
So um you see him and how much of a badass that he is too. So it was really great, and then great world building, great storytelling. Like, who would have thought this hentai artist could actually write a story? And then after that was basically the bulk of it too, because the beginning was probably like 20 chapters or something, but the flashback arc was almost like 40. It was almost like double the length of the intro. It was more like he's like, yeah, we got these great characters, but let me go back and tell you some stuff. And then there were some fights. You did see, like, like most shonen jumps, or yeah, shonen jumps, they formed the squad. So it was like Nagi and Maya and Bob, and then they're all fighting, and they each have their own little fight, and they're fighting off in a corner. And so they did a couple of those too, and Aya came around too. Um, so it was, yeah. And then after the flashback arc, Nagi's mom shows up, and they also bring out what there's another trope of the shonen series, which is like the 27 families. So they're all like, okay, you want to be stronger and all that, because there's the great impending evil is coming, and so they're like, you got to be ready, you got to be prepared, because you're showing yourself to be capable. So now we're gonna train you for the even bigger challenge that's coming. And there's a was it Mutsuomi? He was, at least when I read it, he was the main bad guy, and he was also part of. He was the one who actually killed Shin, because Shin was going on a rampage, and so he was the one who actually put him down. And Mutsuomi has a younger brother. Is it like Taka Yanagi? I think was his name. The younger brother. That was the family name.
Mhm.
And he was the one that actually showed up, and he was the one who actually stopped Nagi when Nagi came back in the very beginning. So Maya sent him flying, but then when he came back and he's all like, "I'm not done whooping the school," he's like, "You really want to do this?" And he just floors him. So he floors the younger brother, floors Nagi, and turns out his older brother was the one who killed Shin. So yeah, you can kind of see now it's getting very complicated too. And I want to remind you, this dude was a hentai artist. So was a hentai artist. Tenjo Tenge is a damn good show. Now I kind of want to go back and finish it, just talking about it. But yeah, there's a reason why when I saw that, and our friend, he has the Maya plushie, or he has the Aya plushie. So we got him because it was like, this was like from Fanime, I believe.
Okay.
And so it was like 2 for 20. So we were
Huh.
like, okay, you get Maya, I get Aya, because he likes Aya, and I preferred Maya. So yeah.
Nice.
So that's and I start off with Tenjo Tenge because I think Tenjo Tenge set the groundwork for. Oh, Tenjo Tenge also introduced, from the very first time that I saw punch someone so hard their shirt blows off. I don't. Can you think of earlier shows from before 2004 that kind of did that?
No.
Yeah, because when it was like Dragon Ball Z and all that, that was kind of like because they burned it off, or like with Kenshiro, he burned it off because his chi, his fighting energy, burned his clothes off.
Yeah.
But I think Tenjo Tenge was one of the first times I saw someone, you punch them so hard their like blouse blows open. So it was yeah. So that laid the groundwork for Ikitosen, and Ikitosen is a take on Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Now, I had actually discovered Dynasty Warriors not too long before I started reading Tenjo Tenge. So my brothers picked up Dynasty Warriors from GameStop, and then I started playing it. I was like, yo, this is actually kind of fun. And so then I started, learning about Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and I started reading the actual book, and getting more and more into the Muso games. And then I'm a fan of beat 'em ups to begin with, so beat 'em ups evolved into Muso style games, and now we're on the verge of getting what Persona 5 Muso, and they just announced the next Hyrule Warriors Muso. So beat 'em ups and Muso games, that's my thing. So Romance of the Three Kingdoms was really interesting to me, and I told this to our same friend. I told him that, dude, you couldn't get me on Lord of the Rings, but Romance of the Three Kingdoms is basically Chinese Lord of the Rings. It's really that. It's really like this guy is like larger than life, but he still got taken down because he was too cocky. And then it was like a giant army on army battles and all this. And this, strategist outwits this strategist. And this guy was kind of a dick, and he needed to go down. And they rose up and they stopped him, and, betrayal and all that. So it's this giant epic of a tale, which Romance of the Three Kingdoms is actually the like fantastical telling of the actual Three Kingdoms era. So there are two stories that you have to be careful of which one you're reading. So, for instance, Lu Bu, who is again in God of High School,
Yep.
he's also in Fate, and he debuted in Fate Extra, and now he's in FGO. But the version that they use in FGO is his historical context versus what you might see in like the Dynasty Warriors games, which is more like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms version.
Okay.
And so they use two different tellings of his story. So there's that to keep in mind. But yeah, so I came into Dynasty Warriors, and then I went into Tenjo Tenge, but Tenjo Tenge laid the groundwork for Ikitosen. So what Ikitosen did is they took the competing warring states factions and they turned them into high schools in Japan. So every high school represented one of the kingdoms from Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And so what it is they have Magatamas, which are the spirit jewels, the ones that look like the number 9.
Yeah.
And every jewel has a ranking from I think like S to like D or E or C. I think C. It's like S to C. And the rankings determine the strength of the person that was from the Three Kingdoms era that's contained in that jewel. And I think the jewels were also colored accordingly too. Like the bronze ones I think were the weakest ones, and then like the main characters had like the aqua blue ones. So the souls of famous people from Romance of the Three Kingdoms were locked away in the Spirit Stones, and everyone wore them as basically earrings. So the main character is contains the soul of Sun Se, and Sun Se was from the Kingdom of Wu. That's my boy. So you already know that I'm biased. I'm already feeling it because Sun Se died at 27 years old, um, just under basically mysterious circumstances. Some say he was poisoned. Some say he got got shot by arrows, and that was just a bad draw. He was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Some say he was cursed, that he was healthy one day, and then the next day he just like drops dead. So
Wow.
so Three Kingdoms opens with the girl Ryofu, and that's the other thing too. I also have to explain. So there's three versions of the same people. So there is the Chinese names, there's the English translations of those Chinese names, and then there's the Japanese names of those characters. So So like you have like Ryobi, so that's Liu Bei. Liu Bei, I don't know the Chinese name, I apologize. But we translate the Chinese name to Liu Bei, and then the Japanese take is Ryobi. So it's like you have to, if you know who they are, because the anime uses the Japanese names. And
Right.
I know I had to go look these up because I was getting lost. Some I was able to piece out because of who they were hanging out with, but some of them, yeah, they were like, ugh. So the one that bears the spirit of Sunsei shows up, and just like we said, shows up and just starts causing trouble. She's all like, "Yeah, I'm Ryofu. I'm here to assert dominance and whoop everybody." And sure enough, she just starts whooping everyone's ass. And then the character was it the one that contains the soul of Liu Meng, who was the strategist for the Kingdom of Wu, shows up and then just kind of like puts her down. I'm so yeah, yeah. So and that's Ryomu. That's the one that dresses in the maid outfit and has the eye patch.
Okay.
You've definitely seen her before.
Yeah.
She showed up and she puts down Ryofu and she's like, don't insult us. There's no way, he's dead and a moron like you can never be our leader, the leader that could. So and she stops him, but then it's all like, okay, and then other people start kind of buying into it, and they're like, yes, actually, it turns out she is the character. And what the mystery is that there was always this like legend that says that if Sun Se hadn't died at 27, he very well could have won the entire war because he was charismatic, he was a good leader, and he wasn't afraid of fighting. He was always on the front lines, so that's why they said when he got shot by arrows, that was just bad luck on his part. But he also was able to surround himself with competent people. So later on, we meet his Zhao Yu, which was his best friend and his best strategist. Which Zhao Yu is the reason why Wu was as successful as it was. He was on the same level as Zhuge Liang and Sima Yi, and you can't convince me otherwise. He was the one that actually went to Zhuge Liang and coordinated the Red Cliffs attack. So Zhao Yu um, is yeah, he was the reason why they were so successful. So um so she shows up and and what's funny too is this is a take on what he actually did was after Sun Se's father died. Sun Se went back. He traded in the mark of the emperor, and then he's all like, "Give me like a bunch of troops," and he did that. And then when he went back to his native lands, they had been overrun by like barbarians and just bandits and all this. So he's all like, "Yo, no." He starts who riding through all of his land, whooping all these fools, he meets a couple of his future generals and lieutenants and commanders while he's doing all this because they're all impressed that he's just beating all these people that came in thinking that they can just rob the place. He starts taking his lands back, and by the time he's done, he's made a chunk of land that's bigger than the kingdoms of Shu and Wei. And so that's how Liu Bei and Zhao Cao noticed him. They were like, "Who's this punk ass kid who's just running around beating up all the bandits, making a land?" So they were like, "Oh, that's Sun Jian's kid." And yeah, so that's how they got noticed. So shenanigans happen regardless, and then the anime or the manga actually takes place where they go up against oh man, why it's I'm trying to recall the names. Dong Zhuo. Dong Zhuo was the guy who commanded Lu Bu.
Okay.
So they go through that whole arc, and you see that Lu Bu, who I'm sure that you've seen Ryomu. Ryomu is the one with the green pigtails. He has like the orange jacket and green hair.
Probably. I'm sure I've seen a photo of all of these people at some point.
Yeah. So well, that's Ryomu.
Okay, I've definitely seen her.
Yeah, that's Ryomu. I'm thinking of Ryofu. See, I'm getting myself confused. So that's Ryofu. That's
Yeah.
that's Lube or Lubu. Sorry. So that's Ikitosen's version of Lubu.
Okay.
And she she knows already like her fate. Like Lubu is the one that betrays everybody and jacks it all up. And Chen Gong, their Ikitosen's version of Chen Gong is also is like a C ranked, lower ranked character, and she goes to Ryofu and is just all like, "Yo, let's just get out of here. Let's like break our destiny. You don't need to do this. We can escape now, and no one will ever know it." And Ryofu is just like, "I can't. We're all bound to the destiny." And sure enough, um, Dong Zhuo is just basically like, he's like some punk ass kid, and he's just like, okay, he's like, I'm still gonna manipulate schools and take over schools and just be a general dick, and it just irritates Ryofu, and even though she's all like, I can avoid my destiny of betrayal and death if I just leave now, she still can't bring herself to do it, and she still ends up killing Dong Zhuo. So that happens, and then after that we start making or learning all the other characters. So obviously Kanu.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously everyone knows Kanu. And then
Yeah.
so, but then also the other ones because they weren't in it. You would think that Ryobi, uh, Ryobu, God damn it, I'm just gonna use their Chinese names. Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei. They weren't in the beginning. You would think that such integral characters like them, they actually showed up like after the Dong Zhuo arc. Then all of a sudden, because Kanu had showed up, and because she had heard that Sun Se was running around, so she's all like, "Yo, I want to meet this guy," and she just also they kind of fight to a standstill, and then she's just kind of like, "Okay, I'm gonna peace out." So she just pieces out, and that's Kanu apparently just goes back to Shu
Yep.
and reports back, and apparently well, that's the other thing too. The three leaders, so Cao Cao, Sun Se, and Liu Bei, their Magatamas actually contain like basically spirit dragons because those are like the big names, most powerful, influential leaders. So it's a power that they basically just lose to, and once that power takes over, they just become like unmanageable. So when they came up to Liu Bei, they had to basically chain her to the wall to keep her controlled because she could not control it.
Right.
But then when she gets out of her like when she calms down, she's actually a moron and a ditz. And she's just like a bookworm, and she's just all like, "Oh, I'm just like, why do I have to be a leader? I don't want to be a leader. I just want to read my books all day." And she drives Guan Yu up the wall because she's just all like, "You're a glorious leader. You need to act like it." And Zhang Fei is like just like
Everything I do
tomboy,
is leader like.
right?
So
So, and what's funny is that you can see it too. So, um, this is Koihime Muso, and so in same thing actually. So in Koihime Muso, um, I don't even know if I'm being picked up on the mic anymore. But so they weren't in the first season of the anime, even though the this one follows Guan Yu.
right.
So the anime follows Guan Yu, but they don't meet Ryobi until the second season because which is also how the first game went. But in Koihime Muso, it opens up with Ryobi's mom basically saying, "Oh yeah, I have to go follow you now and going on an adventure. My mom keeps bullying me to get out the house, and her mom was throwing her in the lake. So she would just throw her in the lake, like, go be useful, go rule the kingdom like you're supposed to." So, that's kind of like how all that comes out. But they're oh man, I'm looking up something.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I was just trying to think of something to keep
Yeah,
from
yeah,
having long
yeah,
pauses.
yeah. So, oh man, uh,
I'm just cut it out.
yeah,
They'll never know.
yeah. So that's Zhao Yu. So that's the strategist. So that's the guy. And then his role in Ikitosen is just to kind of keep Ryofu out of trouble, to keep Sensei out of trouble, which is kind of like how he was in real life. But yeah, um, and then that's from like the third season. That's Sun Quan. So when Sun Se died, Sun Quan took over. So they represent Sun Quan as the little sister.
Okay.
So oh, this is that's Lu Meng, who was another notable warrior from Shu. When they actually were coming up with Ikitosen, Lu Meng was going to be the main character, but for some reason the dude just decided to not do it. He went with Sun Se instead. But Lu Meng was also another prominent warrior. Um,
Okay.
and then out of nowhere, the actual picture of Xiao Yu looks just like him.
Yeah.
from the Chinese scriptures and all that. Um, yeah. So oh, and that's Lady Soon. Lady Soon. So their mom, their actual mom in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, she was alive like the whole time. Like she was alive all the way up through like Sun Quan. So they represent her as being this like badass that is not above like whooping the shit out of Sun Se. So yeah, there's Kanu.
Yeah, I figure.
Yeah. So everyone knows Kanu, even if you don't even know what shows she's from. Everyone knows Kanu. Oh, and that's So this is oh man. So Xiao something. Xiao. So this is a general of Wei. He's one of the five leaders of Wei. So his story was that in the battlefield his eye got struck by an arrow. He rips out the arrow with his eye and eats his eye, throws the arrow on the ground and says, "I'm not going to ever give anything to my enemies." And then just continues to battle. So that's
Wow.
that's what that is. Like I said, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms is badass. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to find what I'm looking for. But anyways, yeah. So and it went on. It went on for forever. I know that, and they kept. I think they kept making anime even after the manga was done.
Really?
Yeah. So they included a lot of the bulk of the main characters. So if you were if you played Dynasty Warriors, like I think we're up to 8 or 9 now, you would actually pick out a lot of the characters that are in Ikitosen. But the whole battle high school and the high schools represent kingdoms and all of that, and they're fighting for dominance and all of that. I think that I felt that that was really appropriate too. So you know, yeah, it worked. It worked, and it hit me at a good time because I was getting into Romance of the Three Kingdoms and then learning that there's an anime about it, and yes, the catch is that it's super etchy. That's what I've been not avoiding trying to talk about. Everyone knows the reputation Ikitosen has. Yes, it's fan service. Yes, it's dumb, but if you actually gave it an honest shot, if you like it, I think there's something there. I think the first season is kind of I don't think they really knew what they were doing in the first season, which is why I think it relied on the panty shots and all that. And obviously I think the manga is actually infinitely better. But yeah, it was good. It was really good. So
Yeah, yeah.
I yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about either of those actually.
Oh, that's right. So Zhuge Liang in Nikitosen is a loli.
Oh yeah.
In the manga she was actually what you call it? There it is. Okay. And then Chaun is so Chaun is one of Liu Bei's. So this is all kingdom of Shu. So that's Guan Yu, Zhuge Liang, and Zhao Yun, I believe. Zhao Yun. Yeah, Zhao Yun. And so Zhao Yun became one of Liu Bei's like best warrior general guys. That's why like if you go and you pick up a Dynasty Warrior,
Uh-huh.
he's usually like on the cover. He's like the poster boy because so he came into prominence because they attacked one of Liu Bei's caravans while he was traveling around, and Liu Bei escaped, but his baby got left behind, and so Zhao Yun actually went back in the middle of all the fighting because the soldiers are all fighting. They're like, we got to get Liu Bei because we can get Liu Bei, we can take him out, and Zhao Yun ran back and forth rescuing people, and eventually he rescued Liu Bei's baby, and Liu Bei was about to throw the baby on the ground and be like, "This baby is worthless compared to a warrior like yourself." So Chalon is actually one of my favorite characters. Chalon is badass.
I mean, it's a baby.
Yeah, Chalon in Ikitosen was like just, and I think this is also Asakawa Yu as well, I believe. So yeah, so she and that is basically like the whole like, and then everything is like cut. You do the you can't even see it, one of those.
Yeah.
So Chalwin is actually badass. and it sucks too because I don't think she gets a lot of screen time, and she came out like when like volume 13 of the manga. So, but it was like, and that's why I make the jokes all the time. I'm all like, ha ha ha, Kingdom of Shu, but they had some badasses to them. But yeah. By the way, this is the studio that went out of business. I don't know if you saw that. The same studio did Queen's Blade, also did Ikitosen.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that explains a lot.
yeah. Um, so I mean, yeah, but if a lot of people, like I said, they just give it a bad rap just because they're like, oh, it's just panty shots and all that. But and then when she opens her eyes, yeah. So, but that's the other thing too. Chowan says it too. She's like, if you have to make me open my eyes, you're screwed. It's game over, son. So, yeah. Um, that's why it's a damn shame that I don't. Why did they make Romulus the Grand Lancer? I was like, Grand Lancer should have been Guan Yu. Guan Yu's spear is literally the Jade Dragon spear. Everyone knows that. Whack. But yeah, Chowan was one of the best or greatest warriors of Shu, and that's why they also respect it. So Chowan is basically like Ryobi's bodyguard. So that's the thing too, is that what they when they did Shu, they let off with Guan Yu, with Kanu. And then it was just kind of like, okay, Kanu is kind of badass, and then like everyone else is a bunch of idiots. Everyone else is kind of dumb. And then Chowan too. Chowan is kind of like aloof. So Chowan is just kind of like just hanging around. And then when she actually has to get out and fight, though, it's on. And then obviously Kome, who's Zhuge Liang, is a lowly. So, but
Okay.
she actually is very competent too. But yeah. Um, and then the guys in Wei, the guys under South Sao, Sima Yi is actually a blonde chick that's contained to a wheelchair, but she's also kind of very manipulative. She knows her role, and so she's always trying to get everyone involved. And so the anime basically, or at least the manga, basically culminated with them recreating the Battle of Red Cliffs, which was Shu and Wu launching the surprise attack on Wei and basically almost ending Wei. Like they almost had Zhao Sao right there, and if they would have taken Zhao Sao, that would have been the end of it. So the end gist of it is what would have happened if Sun Se had still been alive. What would have been the outcome? And then yeah, and that was pretty much it. So everything that happens after that though is all just kind of like they're just free balling it. So that's why in that season they brought back Ryofu, they brought back Lu Bu, they introduced Sun Quan, the little sister, and they just kind of like went crazy. And I think was the last season came out not too long ago either. Was it like Executioner or Executor? Ikitosen Executor, I think came out like 2017.
Okay.
So they were still doing it. And then the guy that made Senran Kagura, he actually got started making the Ikitosen game on PSP. That was like his second game ever. And that's where he learned about exploding clothes.
Oh,
And
okay.
so then he's all like, yo, exploding clothes though in Ikitosen is just kind of like a side effect. He's like, what if I can make an entire game off of this? And so Ikitosen created Senran Kagura. And that's why Senran Kagura, or yes, Ikitosen was in Senran Kagura as a result of that. So, um,
Were they like a collab or something?
yeah, it was a collab. They were DLC characters. So, yeah. So, Lubu, Guan Yu, and Sunsei, they were all in there.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. So I think you get the point. So, yeah, the battle high school trope stood out for me, and at the time too, I think what also helped was I wasn't really doing much. It was all I worked a part-time job at Walden Books and I played Final Fantasy 11, so it left me a lot of time to kind of get involved with these types of shows. But yeah, uh, yeah, they like I said, they're very similar. You can kind of see how it all starts the same. Ca- Character X shows up, wants to assert dominance, discovers that not the most powerful one, and then shenanigans. And then word spreads around, rivals show up, and all of that. But yeah, but I think that, and especially if I was to pitch it to Roman, I wouldn't even say anything. I would just show him all the character designs. So, and to be fair to Ikitosen too, it isn't all like everyone's just gender bent. There are dudes too, and some of the dudes are actually pretty well developed too. So some of the dudes can hold their own too. It's not just all like all the chicks are hot. It's like no, the dudes have depth to them too. So yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I got.
All right. So that was two shows,
Yeah, that's two.
but yeah, because they were pretty similar, it made sense to talk about them both.
Right. Then it just kind of transitioned right into each other.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if one was basically, I guess, influenced the other one.
Yeah, it they could have been working on it at the same time, but Ikitosen, to my knowledge, came out after Tenjo Tenge. So they might have been coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
But the concepts were too similar. Um, but yeah. And I also got to throw out a special disclaimer too. The when Tokyo Pop was actually doing the Ikitosen mangas, they were uncensored. I don't think they censored anything, but they did a really dumb translation thing where they were changing everything to be dumb jokes, and that just kind of turned me off. And I think on around like one of the later volumes I bought, maybe around like 17 or something, they started to tone it down, but until that time it was so distracting. Like the dialogue was so dumb, and I don't know who was in charge of that or who decided to just be like, this show's dumb, it's all fan service, let's just make the translations dumb.
Like a ghost stories
Yeah.
kind of
Yes,
situation.
actually that's a perfect way to describe it. Yes.
Okay.
And then on top of that too, when you watch the anime and it's not how they translate it, it's just kind of like what. So you have these badass characters like Kanu and Chaoun and all of them, and it's just kind of like the translation just kills it, and it's like, oh, all right. So yeah,
Yeah, I can get that.
so yeah, that's why I stopped reading it, because I said if I was ever gonna go back and pick up Ikitosen the manga again, I was probably gonna read the scanlations because the official translations were trash.
Okay.
So,
This
but
is probably before they knew any better.
right, yeah,
Like, yeah, they just want a direct translation. They don't want our weird interpretation.
right. Or maybe they just saw all the Chinese to Japanese names and they were like, I'm not translating this. So, but yeah.
That could
So
be it too.
yeah. And there was also lots of like good fights too. So lots of inter character to character fights. So yeah, if you like that stuff, if you like the kind of stuff that like got a high school shows, then some of the fights in Ikitosen were along those levels. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Do you have anything else, or
I'm good. I think I've explained it. I hope I've explained it a lot. If anybody has any intake, I'm sure that people have stories about Ikitosen. It's hard to be an old school weeb and not like know of Ikitosen and its reputation. But I'm a defender. I will defend Ikitosen. I don't care. I have my bias and I'm not afraid to display it. But yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's worse as far as fan service and all that goes.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
especially nowadays.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like it's that bad.
No, no.
Probably watch it nowadays, but like that's pretty tame
Right.
compared to some other stuff that I've seen.
But like you can go further, you know. And actually, funny enough about the anime is that it actually didn't do that. So even though clothes were exploding left and right, it always managed to like have that convenient censoring. So the only time they actually showed anything was on like the OVAs, which is what they always do.
Yeah.
So buy that Blu-ray, buy that DVD. Yeah, then you get to see like some nips.
Just some
Yeah, just some. Sucker, you gave us $90. Ha
for 2 seconds.
Yeah, right. You could have found it for free. But yeah.
Alrighty. I'll have to, well, check out at least one of them.
Yeah, I think you would appreciate Ikitosen. Well, I think you would have. Well, let me take that back. You would appreciate Tenjo Tenge for the story. You would appreciate Iki Tozen for the character designs. That's what I think. That's what I think. That would be my pitch to you.
That'd be the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess I'll just go with my most mainstream one here then,
Good.
because I'm pretty sure everybody who started watching anime, what was it, in the 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
has probably seen this series. It's Azumanga Daioh.
Hmm.
This was definitely the first, I guess, cute girls doing cute things, slice of life series I'd ever seen. Because at that point, I was still just watching Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, Hellsing, Berserk, shows like that, all the masculine stuff. And then I don't know, I was on like a bunch of forums and I kept seeing stuff about this series, and I was like, it's supposed to be pretty funny. Maybe I should check it out. And I think I've watched it at least 10 times since then. And this is a 26 episode series?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was back when 26 episodes was standard, not like now, where it seems like the standard is 12, 13, and some of them are even going to like 3 to 5 minute episodes. 12 if you want to do Isekai Quartet.
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Would you say this was one of the shows that started that whole thing?
I think it's definitely one that made it popular
Yeah,
because Azumanga Daioh set the groundwork for Lucky Star, and Lucky Star exploded, and you could think the dance too.
yeah. There's always some kind of dance now,
Right.
like the Chica dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when I was watching that, everybody was like, "Wait till was it 3?
Episode.
Just watch it episode the ending credits at episode 3." I was like, "Cool, all right, she's dancing, all right." That was basically my reaction.
Maybe that's what I should have. Maybe I should have done Kaguya-sama. Maybe that should be my third show. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I have vague memories of Azumanga Daioh. I think you and our other friend Jose, I think, might have been more into it, way more into it.
Yeah.
But I also didn't really have access to it either because at that time it was still downloading stuff. So
Oh, I downloaded it.
yeah,
I think it was what, Kazar or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that gave your computer AIDS.
Yes, correct.
I was using that still. That's how I was getting all my anime. Had
Mm-hmm.
to be like surprised sometimes because it would say it was one thing and then it'd be porn.
Yep.
Or something like, oh no, wrong thing. There was 3 days wasted.
You're not Chio-chan. You're too big.
Yeah, too big in more ways than one. So if you have not seen Azumanga Daioh is about, what is this? 6 girls in high school. One of them is technically elementary school age, but she jumped grades because she's a genius, prodigy kid. Um, and it makes it kind of seem like it's going to be mostly about her, but it's actually about all 6 of them because they all have their spotlight. My favorite was always Osaka, the I guess ditzy, dumb one who just got dumber as the series went on. Uh, she was my favorite out of them all. Uh, Although I guess waifu for that would be Sakaki.
Yes, Sakaki was my favorite.
Which, as far as I know, this is the show that started that whole waifu thing.
Yes,
Because of Kimura Sensei.
Yes.
If you watch, I think it's just if you watch the Japanese one. Because when I first started watching it, it was the English dub. Because back when I first started watching anime, it was all English dub. Then I got into the Japanese dub with English subtitles because Dragon Ball kind of ruined that for me. But if you watch the Japanese version of Azumanga Daioh, he says waifu when he's talking about his wife because they find a photo of his wife and they're like, "Who's this pretty lady?" And they're like, "That's my waifu." And it's like, "Oh, okay," and that just stuck. So this is the show that started that whole thing. So if you want anything to blame or thank, it's Azumanga Daioh.
It ruined everything.
There you go, waifu wars and all this other stuff. Before that, it was just, I like this character.
Yeah, this character's best girl.
Yeah. Now it's waifu, waifu, waifu. So again, we got Osaka. She's the dumb character. She also seems to be about the same height as Chio-chan, maybe a little taller. She's definitely not as fast as her though.
Mhm.
She's the only one in the whole school that can get outrun by Chio-chan. Uh, Sakaki is the quiet, sporty type girl, really tall. Uh, all of the sports clubs want her to be a part of their club, but she has no interest. She just likes cute things and wants to pet cats and stuff like that, although cats hate her. Every time you see her try to pet a cat, it's biting her hand. The first time a cat bites her hand, Chio-chan thinks she got into a fight because her hand's all bandaged up. Uh, you got, well, I already talked about Chio-chan. Tomo, the really loud, hyper, extravagant girl, I guess you could say. She causes a lot of problems, especially for her friend Yomi. She's the book smart type. Wears glasses, always trying to lose weight because she thinks she's like super fat.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, and
She
Tomo likes to pick on her about it.
she's the one who was on the picture where she's standing on the scale, and then she tries to stand on the scale with one leg. Think
Yeah,
if that'll change? Yeah.
and taking off all of her clothes and her glasses because it's going every ounce counts. I remember one scene in the series where they're doing stretches before they're going into the pool, and Yomi's all like, because Osaka is like stretching, she's got her legs out like this, and she's like this.
Hmm.
That's as far as she could stretch, not even moving basically. And Yomi goes like, "No, you got to do it like this," and she goes all the way down. And Tomo is just like, "Yeah, she's super flexible because she's made of nothing but fat," and she's squeezing her side.
Oh, wow. High school girls were brutal in the 2000s.
She
Yeah.
got a double chop for that one.
Yeah.
Um, just like with most of these shows, they do introduce a character kind of later in the series. Uh, Kagura, kind of like a rival to Sakaki in the sports department.
Okay, I remember her. The
Uh,
tan one, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
tan one, because she was in the swim club, and I don't think they ever had a swimming competition, but they were always competing at like everything else, racing. Um, if there was any kind of test, she was always trying to compete against her. Just anything she could think of to try to beat her, she was trying to make a competition out of it,
Hmm.
and she would always lose, except for marathons. Tsukaki's not like a good distance runner, she said, so she's better at short distance. Um, then you got the crazy teachers. Yukari Sensei is their homeroom teacher, who's like an alcoholic and doesn't exactly set a good example for the students. Um, what did she do? There was an episode where Chio-chan is in this penguin costume. It's like a big blue penguin, and she's going to go show Yukari Sensei the costume, and she sees her walking over, and you can tell she thinks it's super cute, and then she pushes her down onto the floor.
I remember that.
And they're like, "What'd you do that for?" And she's like, "It was just so cute. I had to knock it down."
I remember that. I remember that.
And she's friends with Minamo Sensei, or Namo, I think is her nickname. She's the one who's always trying to be a good example for the student. She's the PE teacher, but Yukari's always calling her an idiot because she's a PE teacher, and that's all she's good at is sports and nothing else. Uh, Yukari is an English teacher, so she considers herself to be pretty smart, even though she's not that smart and anything else. Definitely,
If I had to teach English, I'd be an alcoholic too.
yeah. If you watch the English dub, she's a Spanish teacher.
Oh, it was during that age, huh?
Yeah,
Where you had to convert everything to be more local.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, and then there's Kimura Sensei. I guess you could kind of call him a pedophile. He was a teacher. Um, in the very first episode he's introduced in, they ask one of the male students, which you hardly ever see. But one of them asks him, "What made you want to become a high school teacher?" And his answer was, "Because I love high school girls. That's why." The girls were kind of disgusted, but the guys were moved and brought to tears because of it, because he was so honest with his answer, and they hope to one day be just like him.
And he also like doesn't really talk until like someone asks him something or someone talks to him and then he, like shouts his answers out.
Yeah, most of his talking is through shouting.
Yeah.
He's very loud, but he is married and he has a daughter. So I don't know. He likes high school girls. Doesn't seem to really. Well, actually, he does. When they're in the pool, he's always trying to sneak his way in there so he can watch them swim or do the stretching or anything like that. And then he gets thrown out by Mino Sensei, and then he's crying outside because they won't let him in.
Crushed his dreams.
Yeah, they crushed his dreams. Um, I remember one episode. They see him walking down the street, and he's like picking up cans, and he gave like one of those dudes out like on the street that's asking for like charity donations or whatever. He gave him like a 10,000 yen bill,
Hmm.
and the girls walked up and said, "What was that? A 10,000 yen bill?" Like, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's always you should always help the charities." And she's like, "We saw you picking up cans and stuff," and like he's got a bag, and like, "Yeah, you should always put these in the recycling bin." Like, he's a nice guy, but then as soon as he's walked away and he's over by the streetlight, he's like thinking about them changing, and yeah, it's like he has moments where he seems like a really good guy, but then it's like he just acts like his normal self, and then he just ruins it. uh, you only ever see his wife once, maybe twice. You see her in a photo, and you see her at one of the sports festivals where she comes to bring his lunch because he forgot it. Uh, they tried to see if she was a good person by rolling an empty can past her, and she went to go and grab it and ran into the wall. She's kind of ditzy.
Kind of not there, not paying attention.
Yeah,
Got it.
I think what I really liked about the series, and I know a lot of people don't like shows where there's just a bunch of random stuff happening, but I like randomness. I think that's why I liked Family Guy so much when it first aired. American Dad too, that had some randomness, but Azumanga Daioh, to me, definitely very random. Not as random as like Nichijou or anything like that,
Mm.
but you could see that this was definitely like the starting point for a show like Nichijou.
Yes.
Um,
There was something in common with those shows, right? Like, was it the same mangaka, the same animator, or something, right? No,
mm,
because they looked very similar to me.
I know Kyoani did
Oh.
Nichijou.
Oh, okay. Hey, that's it. Because I know that the Azumanga dude, he did Yotsuba.
Yeah, I think it's a female
Okay.
mangaka.
Well, dude, everyone's dude. So, dudette. Same dudette.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's all that I really know. I can't remember Azumanga Daioh for the life of me. I do remember the things you're talking about. I think Sakaki was one of the earliest moments that I learned that I prefer cats. So you could thank Sakaki for that.
mm.
But yeah, and then everything else I'm just kind of coming back to me the more you talk about it. So yeah.
Okay, so JC Staff did this. The anime. JC
Oh,
Staff
okay.
did the Azumanga Daioh.
Same JC staff that ruined One Punch Man.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to take that shot. You guys just blew that up out of proportion. But anyways, continue. Carry on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like all the randomness. Like I know there's certain things that don't make it into the anime, like because I have the complete manga because they sell it as one big bulk, which it's based off of four coma.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I know who is it? Chio ends up getting a job at like McDonald's, And I know she only got the job because the manager felt sorry for her because he thought that their family must be pretty poor and they needed the money. So he hired her. When really she just wanted a summer job because that's what high school girls do. They get summer jobs. So she wanted a job. Um, Osaka ends up getting a job there because of Chio, and Tomo ends up working there too. Although I don't think she lasts that long.
This was in the manga.
Yeah, this is in the manga. Um, God, I know there's a lot of things that happen in the manga that don't really happen in the anime. But it's only so much you could put into a 26 episode anime, even with 4 coma, especially when the book is like this thick.
Right. See, I had to look up who Tomo was because I was getting Tomo confused with Osaka.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah. Okay. It's starting to make sense.
it's funny how Osaka got her nickname. She transferred to the school from Osaka,
Right.
and Tomo just ran up to her saying, "Hey, Osaka," and that's how she got her nickname.
And Osaka, the character, is one of the first instances where they made a point about the accent difference.
Yes.
Like, if you were more keen to it, you can tell characters, but I've never seen an anime like go out of their way to point it out before until Azumanga Daioh did it.
Hmm.
And that's when they were like, "Oh yeah, she speaks funny, she speaks weird. It's that Osaka accent." And I'm all like, "What's it sound like?" And it confused me, but I guess it does sound distinct to people that do get it.
Yeah. If you watch the dub, it's a southern accent.
Right, which is what they like to compare it to. They like to say it sounds like it's like, "Oh yeah, it's like saying a southern drawl," and I'm like, "Okay," but yeah, all right. So, but yeah, very very country.
Another thing I remember, they were having their culture festival, and they were doing a like a plush cafe kind of thing.
Okay.
It was they'd have tea and stuff, but there'd be plushies all over the place. And some of them decided to make plushies for this because they didn't actually have any.
Okay.
Osaka made a plushie of Sutenkaku Tower and Hanshin. Those were her plushies.
Amazing.
Because this lady was looking at them and she's looking at Sakaki's. Now she made a dog and a cat,
Yeah.
but it was kind of difficult to differentiate between the two because she didn't give like the dog floppy ears or anything. They kind of look similar.
And Sakaki is a cat person, so
Yeah. And then
everything
she
makes
looks
sense.
over and she sees Osaka's, and she picks it up, confused, like, "What's this supposed to be?" And she's like, "That's Sutenkaku Tower." And she's like all proud and happy about it. And she's like, "Well, what about this one? That's Hanshin." uh,
I'll bet you they actually sold those plushies as merch too, huh?
I'd have bought them.
Yeah.
Osaka was my favorite, so I would have bought it. Like she wasn't waifu, but she was my favorite character.
So
She
they,
was hilarious in my opinion. I could see how some people might like maybe find her annoying a bit though, because it's like she just gets dumber as the series progresses.
well, you're helping me understand why you like characters like that because that explains why you like Artoria. You like as they get dumber throughout the series. Oh, I had to take the shot. I had to take the shot. You set it up. I took the shot.
I mean, you could have it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
But
I get it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
what's interesting is that in a show full of dumb characters, you like the one that actually gets the dumbest.
yeah,
Because so like Sakaki was my favorite character, but she's no saint either because she still repeatedly kept getting bit by the cats.
yeah,
So and that one, the cat that like there wasn't really the one cat, and it was the recurring gag, but it basically looks like Chimosuke from Konosuba.
yeah. It was like a black, maybe a grayish
Hmm.
cat that she would always see walking to school. It would be like sleeping or something, and she'd think, okay, maybe I could pet it now. But then it'd like wake up just in time, bite her hand.
Yeah. So don't get it twisted. My character's pretty dumb too. So
Yeah, she never learns when it
no,
comes to that cat. Although
no,
she does end up getting a cat.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a wild cat.
Mm.
The only cat that wouldn't bite her was a wild cat. Like that was indigenous to this one island. I forgot the name of it of the cat, but it even found her. It swam from that island to Japan, the main island, after its mother was run over
Wow.
to find her.
Mm.
So yeah, it was meant to be. She finally got her cat. Only she wasn't allowed to keep it at the house, so Chio-chan was taking care of
Happy ending.
it. Yeah, Sakaki she's great.
Yeah, that was my favorite.
Again, she's super sporty, but she loves cute things, which I think is one of the reasons she hangs out with Chio-chan all the time because she finds Chio-chan cute because she's so small.
And then Chio-chan's dad is voiced by Norio Wakimoto,
Yes.
and he would talk in English. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
So it's because Norio Wakimoto hasn't gotten done proving that he's a badass, so he'll speak English to you.
Yeah. Also, her dad is represented by this weird-looking yellowish orange cat that I think Sakaki gets as a plush
Mm-hmm.
in the show. Um, that's Chio's dad
Yes.
because she had a dream about it being Chio's dad, and now that just stuck. Also, apparently, he doesn't like tomatoes or anything red
Hmm.
because in one of the dreams, Chio was eating tomatoes and he's asking how they taste, and she was like, "They're really good," and he's like, "But how can they be good when they're red?"
Given that intel that I didn't know about, see, I didn't know about that. I didn't know there was multiple dreams.
Oh yeah, there's
I
multiple.
just knew the one was the hello everybody. That's what I remember.
Yeah, he just about any time he's in a dream, he speaks the English. Uh, but yeah, I think he was in like two or three dreams for Sakaki. And then when she saw the plush, she's like, "It's your dad," and she's like, "My dad." uh, yeah, I think I've talked about what Osaka, Shio, Sakaki, Tomo. I guess to give you a good example of what Tomo was like, the first summer break they had, they went to Chio's family's summer home because her family's rich and they have a summer home.
Of
Uh,
course.
so they went. Actually, I think this might have been the second trip. Yeah, it was the second trip. For some reason, Chio made it a point to say that if they lost the key that was in her hand, they wouldn't be able to get in because it's the only key. So Tomo grabs it and throws it into the woods. uh,
Jeez, I wonder why people don't like this show.
uh, Tomo is. She doesn't really think, she just acts. Whatever pops into her mind, she does. And that's what popped into her mind at that time was to grab the key and throw it. So when they finally found the key, Yomi was like Sakaki, and she grabs Tomo to make sure she doesn't get the key again,
Hmm.
and they ran to the house to unlock
Amazing.
it.
And these high school girl escapades paved the way for Lucky Star. So
Yeah,
when you have the Lucky Star theme song stuck in your head, you can think
Azumanga Daioh.
I was gonna say Konosuba. And I
Oh,
was gonna say Yotsuba. But yeah, Azumanga Daioh. Man. Yeah, I didn't know that was that in depth, but yeah, that's all of it's kind of coming back to me. Obviously, you went way more in depth to it than I remember, but yeah,
yeah.
man.
Uh,
So and that also popularized the four coma too. So that was proof that you can take four comas and make it into a successful anime. So
yeah. Apparently, the mangaka doesn't want to do Yotsuba as an anime.
oh, I don't blame him. Is Yotsuba still? Is he still making it?
I
Okay.
think it's still ongoing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's still going. I don't think I heard it was ending. Usually I see stuff on Facebook saying this series is ending, that series is ending.
Hmm.
Like I know I just saw something recently where I think they said Haruhi Suzumiya is having a new book come out now after 10 years of hiatus. So I want to hear anything Hunter x Hunter fans or Berserk fans. Then again, I don't know how long Berserk went on break at one point. It might have been a few years.
Well, anytime you bring up Haruhi, I just blame what's his name? You don't know Aya, so
That's the author, right?
no, that's the voice actress
Oh,
for Haruhi. Yeah, I just blame her.
she's still working though, isn't she?
Kind of. They took her off Fairy Tale. She's not Lucy anymore.
Oh, that's a,
But yeah, she might get something here every now and then. Square Enix uses her for a couple of roles because she's cheap.
ah.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, gotta save money, right?
So so Azumanga Daioh finished though, right? It ended.
Yeah, it ended. They might not have adapted everything,
Hmm.
but they did go all the way through to the end of the four coma, which was when they graduated.
I was about to say, how did it end with them in college?
I think they showed. I think it was Yomi. She was the final one trying to get into college,
Okay.
and she had failed all of her other entrance exams, so she was hoping that this she would pass this last one. And I think they were all meeting up at her at the school so she could see. And then afterwards, they were going to go to some amusement park that they didn't get to go to because, well, that Yomi didn't get to go to because she got sick. Which, if you ask Tomo, it was because she sleeps naked, but that wasn't the case.
That's random.
She told Chio-chan that the reason she was sick was because she was sleeping naked. So when she called to see how she was doing, she yelled at her for sleeping naked, and she's like, "Wait, what? Who told you that?"
Wow. Wow.
And the only reason they even went to the amusement park because was it Chio and the rest of them were like, "We should probably go check on her and cancel our trip." And Tomo was like, "No, she'd feel bad. She'd want us to go, so we should go." So they went.
Well, this anime is a classic, everybody. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I think Tomo got punched in the face for that.
Wow. Brutal.
Yeah,
But all right. All right.
yeah. It's not the first time she's been hit though.
Yeah.
Was it Yukari Sensei beat her with some lunch trays?
This is a show for kids, right?
Yeah, but I mean, Tomo threw food at her by accident. She was trying to hit, I forget who, but it missed and hit the teacher. So she grabbed a couple lunch trays and just started hitting her with them.
That escalated quickly.
Uh, but this is Yukari we're talking about. She escalates. Like, as soon as she gets mad, that's it. You're in trouble. She's probably going to hit you.
Man.
You also don't want her driving because she's a horrible driver.
Okay, so that also was a trope or a meme that perpetuated it too, because the teacher from Lucky Star was bad, and then even Bokuben, we never learned she was bad too.
Yeah, she wasn't a good driver either. Like, Yukari's car was dented. I think her license plate was falling off. Uh, it was a nice car. Was it her family's car? I don't know if it was her car, but she was the one that was mainly driving it, and it was totaled basically. It scarred Chio-chan so much that she refuses to drive and like ride in the same car with her. If they are going somewhere, she will get into a different car, like right away,
Amazing.
because because the teachers always go with them on their summer trips. But I think it was the final one. Yukari, the second one, Yukari didn't drive. Chio rented a car, and when Yukari was going to walk up to the driver's seat, she just pushes her out of the way. Like, no. But then the next year, they needed multiple cars. So Minami brought hers, Yukari brought hers. As soon as Chio-chan saw it, he was already in Minami's car. Like, nope, not doing it. Tomo liked her driving though.
Of course.
But I think that's about it. I like this series. Just talking about it makes me want to watch it again.
Right, that's just bringing back all these memories.
Yeah,
It's like, oh man. Yeah.
I might do that. Not today, but maybe this weekend I might do that.
For the 11th time?
Yeah.
Huh.
My grandma likes the show too. I've made her watch it.
Nice. Good call. That's a good show to show people.
Yeah. So yeah, Azumanga Daioh.
Classic. Go watch it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. And then go watch Lucky Star. Go watch
Yeah.
everything else.
If you want to see where a lot of these things came from, go watch it. Especially waifu.
That's history. Okay. So, actually, my third and last show, I actually am gonna take my bluff and I'm gonna do an audible and change it. I'm gonna actually do Kaguya-sama
Ah, okay.
because in the course of this discussion, originally I was gonna do Interview with Monster Girls because I liked the concept of Monster Girls in high school and dealing with their issues and all that. But I think that Kaguya-sama raises another interesting trope, and that's the glorification of the student council.
Mm.
And I think that this must be discussed because I think I've put the meme in our page, but it was like the pyramid of hierarchy, and it was all like like the U.S. government, the UN, and then the Illuminati, and then at the very peak of the pyramid was the student council.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
The student council is not to be messed with, man. No matter what anime they're in, the student council, their reign is supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And in Kaguya-sama, the student council is always usually like this nebulous, undefined, no rules apply. They have limitless, unlimited resources. Like in Kakegurui, it's all like they control everything. And my parents are rich. My parents, the president, the prime minister. My dad owns 7 corporations, and that's about it. That's the extent of how far it goes. But in Kaguya-sama, you actually get to like it literally takes place in the student council. And then what we used to say too when we were talking about the seasons of Kaguya-sama is that they're actually just normal kids. Like in the second season, when Ishigami just busted out his Switch and then just starts playing his Switch in front of the TV, and then President walks over and just starts casually playing right in front of Inomiko. Just starts playing it, and I'm all like, see, that's the giant evil student council that has no boundaries. That's all they're doing. They're just
They're
goofing
playing
off.
Mario Kart
Yeah, they're just
or whatever it was called in there.
yeah, Star Kart or whatever. So I like it because and always it's like the student council was always like what's is like the Akatsuki
Yeah.
of
High school.
tropes. Yeah, because it's all like just a nefarious organization, and usually, if you ever go back and look at your yearbook and you see like the student council, what is it? Maybe like 7 or 8 people max.
Yeah.
But in like Kakegurui, it's all like 15 people. Because why? Because we need lots of rivals to defeat. The higher the body count, the more badass we can make our main character. And so it's always like, the student council, don't mess with the student council. The student council, ooh. And then in Kaguya-sama, Kaguya is a ditz. Miko is an authoritarian who
Yeah.
needs to lighten up. Ishigami is
A little too relaxed.
he's on death's doorstep. He's 5 minutes away from playing Sudoku.
Yeah.
The president, he's doing his best.
He's
And
trying to keep
then
it together.
yeah, and then Chica has an IQ of 3.
But also a manipulator.
Yes, and she makes great board games. If you haven't seen her board games and you wouldn't play her board game, I'd play her board game.
I'd play.
Was it the game of life and death or whatever it was called?
Something like that.
So, and that actually is actually now the more I'm getting started on this because this is totally changing up all the notes that I had in my mind. But yeah, we never had a board game club in our high school,
We didn't? I thought we did.
did we? Because I don't remember that. That's why I was like, man, there's a club for everything. There was like the activities club, the drawing club, and all that.
Yeah, I don't think there was. Yeah,
And then and Chica, she just has the board game club and just made a board game.
multiple
Yeah.
board game, card game, you name it. She's probably made it.
And then she married Kaguya.
Yeah, I ship it. No.
Yeah, yeah, I'm down with that. But at the same time, I ship Ino and Ishigami. So what you gonna do?
Yeah.
I like that. The authoritarian and the slacker. I like it. I ship it.
Well, you know what they say. Opposites attract.
Correct. But it's the student council, man. They're evil and nefarious. Also, in Love Live, the student council wouldn't let there be an idol club because, student council suck my balls. It's like you don't actually control the school budget, but whatever. We're the student council. Don't question our authority. So yeah, the student council trope is just yeah. I had to bring it up because it's just always there, and no one ever defines it. There's never any boundaries or standards. It's just well, I guess I can't function anymore because the student council told me.
Yeah.
And then on top of that too, for a student council that's so in control of the schools, you would think they wouldn't be surprised then when some upstart shows up and starts ruining their plans, their big evil plans. You know, you're the student council, you're supposed to control everything, right? So nothing surprises you. You're the ones in charge and oh, who is this person ruining our evil plans? Cuz we're 17-year-olds and we have so much control and influence.
Yep. Principal
So,
can't tell us what to do.
right. The principal answers to us. We tell the principal what to do. We're the student council. So so yeah. So in Kaguya, yeah. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to bring up and discuss the student council trope too. And oh man, I want to. There's one that's on the tip of my tongue. Another student council, but at the same time too, I think I'm a little burnt out after talking Ikitosen for like 30 minutes. So no, like there is no student council in Ikitosen, by the way. They are their own council.
Well, I mean, plus you just came up with this one on the spot.
Yeah.
Like you weren't even planning on doing this one.
No, no, but I am glad I did it because the student council must be discussed. The more light we shine on the student council, the more we dissolve their power.
Get those conspiracy theories going.
That's right. And on top of that too, maybe that is another culture difference that we have here in the States versus like the Japanese student council culture over there. Maybe it is a way of empowering their kids and their youth more is by making the student council actually take on more responsibilities versus us. I don't even know what our student council did in high school. I don't even know what they did. What was their purpose?
I think they set up dances, stuff like that, but I don't think they had any real power as far as anything involving the school.
See, anime student councils, they tell the teachers what to do.
I need you to do this.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that. That's the student council. And then they take it too. They're like, yes, I don't want to offend your prime minister father. As
Right?
if as if that had any bearing on automatically becoming like some important person in the student council. You know, like there are kids that belong to politicians and all of that, and they don't have any real power.
Yeah.
So, you know, you think was it the president's youngest son who's like 14? You think he's automatically become student council president of whatever school he's going to?
Well, they see how his dad runs things. Maybe not.
Yeah. So so yeah, it's like it's again maybe this is a culture difference. So maybe
Probably.
so, but yeah, it was like they're talking about like handling budgets and everything over in Japanese student councils, Japanese anime student councils. It's like okay,
Yeah, because apparently they handle the budget for all the clubs.
right.
Like you get this much for this club, this much for that one.
Right.
You sure you give us all your paperwork? You set all this up.
Same
We're
thing.
shutting you down.
Yeah, you just run it. Hands Off Azokin also did the same thing too, where they were like, "Oh, you make anime and all that, and you want to make an anime, but this is taking money away from other important clubs. And what's the point of that? We have an anime club." And it's like, "No, they only talk about anime. We actually want to make an anime." And they're like, "No, there's no money and there's no space for you. Kick rocks." And it's all like, "Oh, but then we convinced the student council, and now everything is hunky dory, everything is cool because the student council gave us permission." And it's like, that baffles me. That confuses me on how much actual power the student council has, because at that point, where are the adults?
Yeah, I kind of feel like this would be something you talk to a teacher about, or like a vice principal or something.
Right.
I want to make this club. Is it okay? You can get enough people. Sure.
It's usually the stipulation too. You need people like magical senpai. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, if you need a club, you need this many people. That's all it takes, and then you get a budget and a room and all blah blah blah. And it's like, wow.
What is it? 3 people?
Yeah.
That's not even really a. Whatever. 3
Yeah.
people.
3 people.
That's the limit. Or
That's not even enough to be a basketball team. You need 5.
Yeah. You need 5 people for a basketball team.
So yeah. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about the student council conspiracy. So and if you haven't seen Kaguya-sama, go watch Kaguya-sama. Because
Yeah, these people definitely don't abuse their power that much.
no, not at all. And like I said, I keep thinking that we're gonna do that in a future viewing party, is the live action Kaguya-sama movie. So
Maybe I'll actually finally see it.
exactly.
She's been telling me to watch it for a while, and I keep saying I'm going to. It's kind of it's the Kaguya-sama movie to to me what Bang Dream is to him.
Someday.
Yeah, someday I'll get to it.
Yeah, maybe if they did yeah, I like Omori. Bang Dream Pico Omori.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Pico's cool. I like
yeah,
Pico.
yeah. How's the student council in Bang Dream?
Well, it's let me see. In one of the schools, it's Sayo, Arisa, and Rinko.
Hmm.
So pretty chill. They don't seem to have too much power though. Like it's not like they're running the entire school.
Like they're the final boss in like Double Dragon. Like you
Yeah,
beat up the rest of the school, but the student council is still, well, members of the student council are the end stage bosses, but the student council president is the final end boss that has 3 forms.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I think in the other school, Hina is the president.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you remember Hina
Vaguely, yes. I'm
from
still learning their names.
Pastel Palettes,
Okay.
Sayo's sister.
The older sister, younger sister.
She's younger.
Okay, yeah. All right, because I just saw an episode with her
Yeah,
talking about how great her sister is compared to the other one's sister, Kasumi's sister.
where she just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. The Yu-Gi-Oh battle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was funny.
yeah. See, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Okay, yeah,
But you're throwing 25 characters at me with no context, and sometimes I'm having to piece it together. It's like, is that the blonde one or the aqua blue-haired one with the pigtails? Lisa.
yeah. He remembers Lisa. Lisa, he remembers. Maybe Yukina.
Yes, and Yukina. Yes, and Hentai Haven-chan.
Yeah, Ranchan.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hentai Haven. Rest in peace. So yeah. Yeah. That's it. I'll cut myself off there because I don't want to ramble anymore, and yeah. And Roman still has 2 more entries.
Yeah.
So let's see what Roman's got. But yeah, don't fuck with the student council. There, I cussed. All right.
All right. Well, you're an hour and something minutes in. So
Yeah. Excellent.
you're fine. They're not gonna go that far into the video to
No.
find any swear words.
No, they stopped listening after Ikitosen. They're like, is he really running defense for Ikitosen? I'm out. Nerd. He just likes upskirts and panty shots.
Well, yes, but this has story to
Correct.
it. Okay, so I don't. I remember during our manga episode,
Hmm.
I think I was going to talk about this one, but I didn't get the chance to.
Good.
Mysterious Girlfriend X.
Okay. I have zero information on. I don't know anything about this show.
Right. And you said so on the Facebook post you did, because so much so that you don't even remember that you made the post.
Yes.
Um. Okay. So I saw this on Hulu
Hmm.
when Hulu had a larger selection of anime because they had a ton of anime. Like I could scroll for like a couple minutes before I'd hit the bottom. That's how much anime they had. Although some of the shows didn't have all the episodes. Like Ikamusume only had 10 out of the 12
Hmm.
for the first season. And then I was like messaging them, like, where's the other 2 episodes? Never mind. Anyway, I saw this on Hulu.
Good.
And this was before I started the channel. I was going to start doing this thing where I was going to watch like 3 different episodes for 3 different shows a day and try to make like a TV schedule kind of thing. That didn't last long. Um, but I did finish this series. Uh, I decided to watch it because the art style kind of reminded me of Urusei Yatsura a bit, just a little bit. But I still had that kind of vibe from like the '80s kind of series.
Okay.
But I didn't really know what I was getting into. I read the synopsis and it just seemed like a standard romance anime.
I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, yeah. And it started off kind of normal. Girl transfers into the class. Guy didn't seem too interested at first because she had hentai protag hair.
Right.
Um,
See that mop top.
yeah, so her hair is covering her eyes. She's gonna rape him at any moment.
Jeez.
Uh,
Oh boy. What am I getting into?
yeah. Anyway, he ends up going into the classroom late one day because he left his bag in there and he sees her sleeping on her desk, in her desk. So he wakes her up, tells her, it's time to head out. And her hair is not covering her eyes, and he kind of falls in love with her. And she leaves. He looks down, sees that she drooled on the desk, puts his finger in it and puts it in his mouth,
Oh.
says it's sweet, and then goes, "Wait, what am I doing?" Grabs his bag and then leaves. A couple days later, he's not feeling so well. Now I know what you're thinking. Got herpes or something.
Hmm.
But no. um, he ends up having to go home, and she goes to his house saying she's got pamphlets and worksheets for him from class, and basically explains to him that when he saw her without her hair in front of her eyes, that he fell in love with her, and when he tasted her drool from the desk, he it like kind of made him lovesick. So now, no matter what, he has to always have some of her drool in order to not get sick anymore. Because she gives him some, and he gets better. So they agree to start dating, so that she can always give him drool every day after school, and it just starts this whole weird relationship thing. Like as soon as I saw him put his finger in the drool and put it in his mouth, I was like, "What the heck am I watching?" But to be honest, after like 2 or so episodes, you kind of don't notice it all that much. It like becomes normal
Hmm.
in a sense, so you don't really pay too much attention to the fact that she's putting her finger in her mouth and putting it in his mouth to give him drool.
So I'm curious, what meme did I share now from those? Like, what?
Let me see if I can find it actually.
Okay. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I remember you saying something about how you'd never seen it, and I made a comment about it. Uh, but yeah, it was.
This was on the Facebook page.
Yeah, this is on the
Thing?
Facebook page. See if I can
So I
scroll
don't
down
even
and
I don't
find it.
even
Oh,
pay
here we go.
attention to what I'm sharing.
See, it's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, uneducated masses.
We got a guy here who barely posts anything, and another one who just randomly posting things without even really looking at them.
Yeah,
Some of these I don't even remember seeing.
I don't even think about the post. I just hit share.
Yeah,
I laugh and I hit share. That's about as far as my involvement goes. So when you said I'm like, did I? I don't remember exactly. I don't know what the show. I just looked it up right now while we're discussing this. So I'm learning as I go here. I didn't even know that these characters and yeah, is this an old show? Is this a new show or is it a recent show or
I think it was mm, like around 2010ish.
that's what it looks. It looks like that 2012 era.
Let me see here. Just pull this up really quick. Uh, okay, so the manga was from 2006, and what about the? Okay, it looks like the anime was 2012.
Okay,
Yeah.
called it.
I'm still looking for this photo,
I
but
mean, it's fine. If you can
it's
find it later, then yeah.
pretty far down.
You can just send it to me later or share it on the Discord or something. Just feel like look, Son doesn't pay attention to what he's posting. He just shares it.
Yeah. So
Be sure to click like, subscribe.
I ended up watching, I think, 2 episodes of that,
Okay.
and then I was like, I need to read the manga. So I found the manga on one of those scanlation sites
Okay.
and just read the entire thing.
See, now when you said that he tasted her drool and it tasted sweet, I thought you were gonna say so. It turns out she's an alien.
I was thinking that because she wears like UFO earrings,
Right.
but there was never a point in the series where they said, "Oh, she's an alien," and she's not the only one who can do this. Like apparently, it's not just she doesn't just make people sick who fall in love with her. She can also like see your inner thoughts. Like if you're feeling kind of like let's say you're thinking something dirty
Mm-hmm.
about her, if she tastes your drool, she can see what you're thinking.
What is this show? Okay. All right, it's good. It's an interesting concept.
Cause he had a dream about them having sex once,
Of course.
and she had like this doll in her hair for some reason. But he was all like embarrassed around her because of it, and she's wondering what's going on. You're like, why are you, acting kind of weird today? And he's like, oh no, it's nothing. You don't need to worry about it. And she's like, come here. And she sticks her finger in his mouth and then puts it in hers, and then she gets all red. And she's like, look, I can't stop you from dreaming whatever you're gonna dream, but just so you know, whenever we do have sex for the first time, I'm not gonna have a doll in my hair.
This isn't a supernatural show, right? It's not like fantasy or any fantastical elements in it.
Just the whole drool thing.
Just the truth. Oh, I can't. Yeah. Well, then again, I think this was in the era where 2012. Yeah, I wasn't really watching a whole lot during that era. Yeah, that's again why I missed out on shows like Katana Gatari. So yeah, I honestly was when I heard mysterious her girlfriend, I thought mysterious heroine, mysterious girlfriend. I thought of something else completely. But yeah, so I have because I've seen the name float around, but I didn't know anything outside of that's the name of a show. That's about as far as my knowledge went.
Yeah.
So
Uh, I know it did have a couple of tropes that I've seen in a few other shows as far as this kind of thing goes. Like they did have the whole arc where um like there's a double of the main female and they end up switching,
Hmm.
but in this case the double was an idol. So she was taken by like the production team because they thought it was her, and the idol was trying to get away from that life for a little bit and just wanted to be herself. So she took over as the guy's girlfriend, that kind of thing.
Got it.
There was also the middle school crush that came back and was trying to get him to date her, and it's like it's not gonna happen. The one thing I will say that I don't get, and this is some oh here it is.
Oh,
That's what you're supposed
oh yes. I thought that was just a fan art.
to. And then you posted never seen this story. Yeah, that wasn't fan art. That's the manga.
Hmm.
Which by the way I bought the entire thing for. It was
Jeez.
on sale at Right Stuff, so I bought it. Um, it's one of my favorites actually. I really enjoy it. But this is one thing that I really don't understand, and it's not the first time I've seen it in anime.
Hmm.
The main couple and his friend and his girlfriend, I don't know why, but they always seem like they have to keep their relationship a secret. Like why?
Probably a rental girlfriend.
Because they start dating, but they don't tell anybody, and they don't want anybody finding out. And if there's any kind of chance that people might find out, they try to do this whole thing where they're like, "No, you can't find out that we're dating." And I'm like, "Why not? Like, what's the point in trying to hide your relationship?" And like I said, even his friend and his girlfriend keep their relationship a secret, and I don't understand why.
I'm saying rental girlfriend.
And it's like I said, it's not the first time I've seen this in an anime. I've seen anime before. I can't think of any where they've tried to keep their relationship a secret, and I just don't understand why you would even bother trying to keep your relationship a secret.
Well, all I can guess at is that it's part of the the calm and controlled Japanese style culture, but maybe they don't want to tell their parents or have anybody tell their parents that they're not studying. They're instead playing hooky and yeah, doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. That's not studying. I don't know. That's my logic. Don't quote me on that.
Okay,
But yeah, that's where I'm thinking.
but the thing is, they didn't really. It actually took like halfway through the manga before they even did anything that couples would normally do.
Hmm.
Because, like I said, this whole thing happened, and then they just like, well, we'll just start dating, you know.
Right.
So it took a while for them to build up to what a normal couple would normally do. Like at first, she wouldn't let him hold her hand. She wouldn't let him hug her. She wouldn't let him do anything.
Right.
And then as the series progresses, you see their relationship get, more and more what you would expect a relationship to be like.
Okay.
Which I think is what I really liked about it was you actually got to see it progress. Like it started as like they're kind of just strangers because they were in the same class, but they didn't really talk and they didn't really know each other. And now they're getting to know each other as because of this whole situation with the drool. So I think I liked it because you got to actually see this relationship go from basically nothing to a full
Meaningful.
on relationship
Right.
with drool involved.
The drill is the secret.
Yeah.
Man, okay.
But as I said, as it goes on, you kind of just forget about the drool. It's like just second nature by the time you get further into it. So it doesn't even really bother
You
you
just
at all.
you just went priestess, you get used to it.
Yeah, basically. Because I remember for the first few chapters and I think the first few episodes, it was like kind of weird, like really weird.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna take me a bit to get used to this whole drool thing. But then as I kept going, I barely even noticed it.
I wasn't into drool before, but now
Yeah, but now it's like my girlfriend can't read my thoughts with my drool, and I don't want her.
Oh man, interesting. Well, if it's still on Hulu, maybe I'll check it out.
Maybe.
Or maybe we'll do a view party for it one day. We'll see.
Yeah, we can do that too.
We'll see. We'll put that out there.
And it's like one thing I know some people might be thinking is if they're in a relationship, why don't they just kiss? Because they'd swap saliva that way anyway. Never happens.
Hmm.
It's brought up once, but they never actually go through
Hmm. Interesting.
it. Yeah, it is pretty etchy. So that's also really cool.
Yeah, when I was looking at Google image search just now, a bunch of her like saying, "I'll let you grab my boobs," and her lifting up her skirt, and I'm like,
Oh
all
well,
right.
the skirt thing. She keeps a pair of scissors in her panties
Mm-hmm.
that she uses as a weapon. So if somebody's like especially with him, if he does something she doesn't like, she'll flip her skirt up, grab her scissors, and just start like cutting around him
Got it.
to scare him.
It's like what's her name from Bakemonogatari?
Ah, Senju.
Yeah.
Yeah, only Senjo will probably cut you. Urabe doesn't cut him,
Yeah.
except for once, and she felt really bad about it. Like she was super like upset that she actually cut him once.
So no, cut my life into pieces.
Yeah, no, cut my life into pieces. The
Smart. Smart.
the bush that's next to you though, that thing's gonna be dead.
No, not the bush. I like that bush. This particular bush.
Yeah, that particular bush.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she'll cut around him, but she won't cut him. It's just to be like, don't like back off.
Threatening.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't just end with like skirts. She'll wear the scissors even with a bathing suit because they were gonna go to the beach and she had like like a tan, but where the scissors were
Oh, the outline.
the outline was there.
Good. Consistent.
Hmm.
Good.
Yep, yep. You also never see her family
No.
and his family. He has a dad and a sister, but the mom died.
Ah. So hey, it's just like Kaguya-sama, president.
Yeah, I wanted a second season, but there's no second season. It ended at like a midway point in the anime in the manga. So the manga actually finishes the story, but the anime only goes to like halfway through the story.
Got it.
Which I guess kind of works out because it didn't get into the whole idol swap thing, which was a bit cheesy.
Got it.
But yeah, I still enjoyed
Interesting. Interesting choice.
it. Yeah, it's a. I figured I should throw something in there that's a little out there for people.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it because, like I said, I was like, oh, Iki Tosen's not about all panty shots, and then Roman comes in. Let me tell you about Mysterious Girlfriend X and the panty shots, and I'm like, yes, it's not me.
And the drool.
And the jewel.
And the
There
drool.
was no jewel swapping in Iki Tosen.
No.
Although there was a couple other bodily fluids being exchanged, but yes.
Actually, who plays these characters?
Mhm.
I gotta see because I want to see if you know any of them. 'Cause I know I probably won't.
2012. What was going on in 2012? Oh, 2012 was like right around when Sword Art, I think, debuted in 2012.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know any of these names. Well, the main character. You got Yurino Miyu as the main guy. Yoshitani Ayako as the main girl.
Kaji Yuki, he just had his birthday.
Who's he?
Um,
Like,
Anybody prominent? I don't recall off the top of my head. Shimamura Yu? I recognize that name. I don't. Yeah. Some of these names ring bells, but I don't because I don't see them all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recognize some of these names. But yeah, they're not ringing any bells. My mind these days is all Haruka Tomatsu and Kayano Ai and all of them.
And all those other FGO.
And all those other voice actors. But yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, I don't know any of them. But I don't know voice actors really.
Yeah.
So that's why I was seeing if maybe you might have known any.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm sure they once you open it, be like, oh, that guy, and it's like, okay. But yeah. Yuki Kaji, I think he was if I remember, if I'm thinking of the same guy, he was Sanosuke in the actual Rurouni Kenshin anime. But more recently, he's always been the voice of of Blanca in the more recent Street Fighters. So
Really?
yeah, if it's the same guy that I'm thinking of.
Kachi Yuki?
Yeah.
I guess I should just scroll down to the S, right, for Street Fighter.
Yeah, or Rurouni Kenshin, One Piece, One Punch Man.
Oh, One Piece.
Yeah. So, oh, Pokemon. Hey.
I don't know any of those people.
You don't recognize random guys?
I didn't see Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh, maybe nothing. I was like, oh, I swear that this was him. But, Star Driver. Wow. Scroll, keep go all the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom.
Or well, no.
Yeah, well, I wasn't trying to go that far down. Here we go.
Suki, no. Okay. Then no.
Oh, these are songs.
Oh.
There we go.
He has a Kodo Quartet, or that's a name I don't remember. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I gave it a shot. And I thought it sounded familiar, but no.
Oh, he's in Watakoi. He's the brother.
Oh. Yeah, then no. No deal. Sorry, bro. I gave you a shot. I didn't. Thought I knew who you were. I guess. Yeah.
Sushi Ninja. Yeah, no, I don't know any of them.
All right.
But yeah, Mysterious Girlfriend X, a weird anime about drool that became one of my favorites.
Nice.
Well, one of my favorite manga series.
Nice.
It's a good anime too, but I still don't like that it didn't finish
the story. That's unfortunate. That always sucks. So
yeah.
Whenever you see that meme now of animes that'll never get a second season, then there you go.
Well, the first one that still pops into my mind is Devil's Part-Timer. Which, as far as I know, is ended. Or at least is coming close to ending. So they should have plenty of material for a second season. If you're listening.
If you're watching this random podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess my final one, since you did your three.
Yeah.
This one doesn't have an anime yet, but it's coming out next year, from what I understand. I don't think I have an actual date yet. That's the Please Don't Bully Me Nagatoro. So.
Okay.
So I guess you could say she's in the trifecta of bully characters.
Yes.
With Uzaki and what was the name of the other girl? Takagi. Yeah.
Takagi. Yeah.
Which I still haven't seen, but I hear that's more wholesome than anything else.
Yes.
And
right off the bat, without even describing it, all you need to say is Takahashi Rie, and you know it's already wholesome.
So she's Takagi?
Yeah.
Okay. Mashu.
Yeah.
Emilia.
Yeah, EMT.
So for those who don't know what this series is about, it follows, I guess, kind of a dorky, nerdy kind of guy, wears glasses, is in the art club, and he was going to the library one day to do his homework and everything, because usually he's there by himself. But on this particular day, there was a group of girls there, Nagatoro and her group. But he's like, whatever, I'm just going to sit here and do my homework. I'm just going to try not to pay attention to them because they're being kind of loud, high school girls and all. And he ends up knocking his bag over, and this manga that he's working on falls out, where the other three girls start laughing at it, and Nagatoro she's just looking at it, ends up staying behind as her friends leave, just so she could pick on him for drawing manga, saying that he was self-inserting himself into the hero role and that he would never be able to do anything that this guy is doing, and ends up making him cry. Yeah, he cried.
To be fair, that hasn't happened to any of the other main characters in any of these other shows. To
Yeah.
my knowledge, none of them have cried.
Yeah, the dude from Uzaki was definitely not going to cry.
No.
And as far as I know, Takagi, that was more of a who can make who blush kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So there was a mutual kind of teasing going on in that one.
Yes.
This was more, she just started picking on him and his manga and his personality and all this, and it just, I guess, got to him and he just started crying. And then she wipes away his tears with her handkerchief with like a smug look on her face. And I believe that's what made people hate this character. Because for the longest time, all I heard was how much people hated Nagatoro. Basically the same thing in the second chapter. She made him cry again. But after that, there's like kind of a tone shift because she hasn't made him cry, and it's been more of a teasing kind of thing instead of a bully, like straight up bully. Although if you read the manga, they do like how they have the blank page after the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a little art, like a little thing drawn
the doodle,
there
yeah.
of her going, I think I went a little too far.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't mean to make him cry, but she kind of overdid it, and she can't back out now. So she just kind of kept going. Because both times she made him cry, the little panel doodle said, I went a little overboard again.
So she's not a jerk outright, but just like Uzaki, they just can't stop themselves.
Yeah. And yeah, she just basically just hangs out with this dude the entire time, picking on him, kind of teasing him. And he's getting kind of used to it now, like having her around, and he kind of, I guess, understands how she works, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nowadays in the manga, you can definitely tell there's kind of a mutual like for each other. Like, I think I was one of the only ones who thought she likes this dude. That's why she's picking on him.
Right. Same.
But most people didn't see that and just said, I hate this character. She's a witch, but with a B. And I'm just like, she likes him.
Yeah. 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 All three characters all like the person they pick on.
Yeah. That's a trend.
Yeah.
That's also kind of definitely a school kind of thing, especially like elementary school, where if like a boy or a girl likes somebody, they'll pick on them because they just want like
the attention.
Kind of the same situation, but with high school. And I think Takagi was elementary, right?
It was like middle school.
It was junior high.
Yeah.
Okay. It looked elementary, but whatever.
It's just because she's like lily.
Yeah.
She looks hella tiny, but after all that, then they just jump all the way to them being married. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy ending.
This one has become one of my favorite manga to read. Like, I'm always checking to see if there's a new chapter, which there should be one coming out tomorrow. Or at least in Japan, there should be one coming out tomorrow. Probably be a couple days before the other one is translated, if the group is a little slow. But yeah, they did try to add in more characters because I mean it was just him and Nagatoro for a while. Like nobody else was really focused on, and they would show her friends every once in a while, but they'd have like their faces kind of shadowed out, and they weren't really brought into the story. But now they're kind of a part of the group, anytime Nagatoro is there, her friends are there. One of them is a definite gal type.
Hmm.
What's her name? Oh, it's the one under this. Sakura. um, she basically, I don't know if I would. Well, I guess you can kind of say seduced the video game club.
Hmm.
She's like their queen.
Simp.
Yeah, I forget. She was trying to pit the whole club against each other, and it kind of worked for a bit, but she ended up sticking around because she liked the games and everything. So she just kind of became their queen. Um,
Take my allowance, queen. Let me
um,
subscribe to your Twitch stream.
there's Yoshi. She's I don't really know what to make of her. She just kind of repeats everything somebody says.
Hmm.
Like if somebody says something, she repeats it. But she doesn't have like doesn't seem like she has her own personality.
Okay.
Like she doesn't say anything too often that isn't being repeated.
Okay.
Except for one chapter where Nagatoro and he's only known as Senpai. He doesn't actually have a name.
Right.
She's trying to get him to exercise a little more. Like go on like a jog and then they're doing some stretching where they're grabbing each other's arms and they're like stretching out.
Right.
And Yoshi's like kind of walks up on him, and they're kind of like, oh, because they didn't expect anybody to see this kind of embarrassing pose they're in.
Right.
And she was out walking her dog, but she's looking at him and she's like, fusion? Like, are you doing the fusion dance? Because it was like the arms were like this,
Right.
but they were stretching, so it just looked like they were doing the fusion dance.
Amazing.
And the other friend is Gamo-chan. Um, what does she call him? Paisen?
Right.
Yeah, she calls him Paisen,
Okay.
which is what like a less nice way of saying senpai or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for you to finish because I just learned it myself, actually. Because the character in FGO Miaoyi, the one
Hmm.
that they was the free character in the Summer 5 event,
Yeah.
they call her Paisen because she originally was the senpai to Gudako, because they were all from the same team, but because Guk-chan got there first, Guk-chan is supposed to be senpai, and so she's always kind of like talking down, like commanding, like go do this, go run that for me, go give me, I'm thirsty, give me a drink. But because she's not a really good person and she kind of sucks, they call her Paisen, and that's the reverse of senpai, and that's supposed to, yeah, like you said, is be a disrespectful or a
Yeah.
lesser form of senpai, so Paisen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was wondering about that too because I was like, is this Italian or what's the reference? But yeah, they said no. When you flip it, when you do Paisen, it's a little bit more like you still acknowledge the age difference or the knowledge difference, but that's all the respect that there is. Not that I actually value you or value your input, just that I acknowledge that you've been in it longer than I have.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's the meaning to what I've interpreted as when they do Paisen.
Yeah. I think that's basically what I read somewhere. Um, but yeah, that's what she calls him, and yeah, she definitely doesn't respect the guy. But I don't know, she doesn't seem to disrespect him much anymore.
Mm,
But she still calls him Paisen. Um, all three of these friends definitely know that Nagatoro likes this guy,
right,
but Nagatoro, being kind of tsundere, denies it.
of course.
She's also kind of yandere too. Like she gets pretty angry whenever there's like some other rival around.
Yeah, and if you go, and I actually do that all the time because I love using it, but go to Google Image and do Nagatoro stare, And all the reaction pictures, yeah,
I got that as a emote in the Discord.
correct.
Yeah,
You do. Yes.
because I like that stare.
Yeah.
But
And yeah. And there's a bunch of like her with the juice box and everything.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
what was it? There was a couple of chapters actually, where Sakura, the gal friend, was basically said that she had this dude stalking her, and she wanted him to play her boyfriend to try to see if it would get him to leave her alone. Nagatoro is looking very angry and is just like, why don't you just tell the guy off? Like, why even go do this? Just yell at him. Just beat him up or something. And she's like, no, no, we gotta do this whole thing. And so they're going on their fake date to try to get this stalker to come out. And like maybe 15 minutes into the date, Nagatoro comes walking over with the stalker and throws him in front of her and says, you're gonna leave her alone. And this dude apologizes, runs off, and she's like, okay, are we done with this? You don't have to date him now, right?
Wow. That's gonna be fun in an anime form.
Yeah. And they introduced a art club president
Okay.
who likes to be nude. Like
That's different.
all of her self portraits are nude. Uh, she won the Culture Fest prize the year before, which was a behind shot of her sitting in a chair, but she was naked.
Of course.
The new one was a frontal view, and she got kicked out of the Culture Fest. She was like, "I got this okayed by the student council. Why am I getting kicked out?"
Oh,
And
student council. Oh.
and they're like, "Yeah, but we didn't know it was gonna be like this. You can't have a nude photo or picture." Um,
That's
because
the student council. They always get involved, man.
yeah, yeah, she's like a not really a rival to Nagatoro because she kind of knows that
Feelings.
the feelings as well. So she kind of tries to push him a bit more. But I haven't seen her in a while.
Hmm.
It was her final year, so maybe she graduated.
Yeah, they just wrote her out.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, this is gonna have anime. Well, I think sometime next year. I don't know if there's a date yet.
Correct. They gave her a voice in one of the commercials, but I don't think they ever said who the voice actress was or is. Unlike Uzaki, when Uzaki did the VTuber promo like 2 years ago, where she was playing Doom, I think,
Yeah.
and that actually was the same voice actress, and Senpai too. So
Oh, they got the same actors
yeah,
for
they got
that.
the same. They got Satania and the dude to come back. So I guess they just were like, you're the official voice actors, because it's not absurd for voice actors to do like VTuber stuff, because like Kanemoto Hisako did that the digital comic for Nico, so she was a voice for that, and she did like one or two others too. So for voice actors and voice actresses to do like VTuber promos or digital comic promos, it's not unheard of. Same thing with Kanojo, where the guy Kazuya sounds like Kazuma from Konosuba, and it turns out it was Fukushima Jun, like what 2 or 3 years ago, doing a TV commercial for the manga.
Yeah.
But then when the anime came out, well, they got another guy. But yeah, they still were like, just sound like him.
Just sound like this guy.
So just sound like him.
Well,
So
he did a good job.
yeah,
He does
yeah,
sound like him.
yeah. He had me convinced. So
Yeah.
um,
Because I remember for a bit, you're like, it sounds like him. I kind of think it is. But we looked it up and was like, oh, no, it's not.
no, completely different. But yeah. So they just haven't named who the voice actress is, because I remember too when I think it was like Anime News Network or one of them made a big deal. They were like, "Oh yeah, it's the voice Tanya's voice actress is going to be the voice actress for Uzaki-chan." So everybody was like, "Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be?" And then it was like, "So Tanya," and I was like, "Interesting, okay." And she's killing it. So whoever has to do Nagatoro is definitely gonna get have an interesting task ahead of them. Same thing with Takagi. So Takahashi Rie is Takagi. But then apparently the dude that does the main character for Attack on Titan, that's him. That's
Aaron,
Nishikata.
he's Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. Aaron is Nishikata. So I'm all like one punk bitch to play another one. Ah.
You're not wrong.
Um. But
I don't think it's any secret that I do not like Aaron.
really? No.
We did me and Bell did the reactions to season 2.
Mm-hmm.
We did nothing but badmouth that dude the entire time.
Ah,
Everybody was getting on our case.
really?
You know, like how it goes. You badmouth the character, and everybody has to try to defend them. So that's all we were getting. And it's like he sucks. He talks a big game about, oh, I'm going to kill all the Titans, and he's done nothing. And now, from what I understand, he's turned on humanity and he's trying to help the Titans.
Well, that's isn't that what the ending the dude wanted? The mangaka said that, and he wanted originally for humanity to be wiped out, and it was going to be a bad ending, and everyone dies and all that. But then he started changing it. I don't know. We're getting off topic.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And you describing Senpai actually has a lot of similarities with Nishikata because, like you said, Senpai and Uzaki-chan, he stands up for himself.
Yeah.
So he's very loud about it, but he stands up for himself, and he actually pushes back on Uzaki. Unlike these other two, they don't really push back on Nagatoro or Takagi. But to
Yeah, usually whenever Senpai tries to do something like that, he ends up grabbing a boob or something.
yeah, and I was working my way towards that. To wrap up with Nishikata, yeah, Nishikata, it is a back and forth because that's Takagi is basically prodding Nishikata to like fall in love or at least admit his love because she knows she's fully aware that there's something between them, but because he's like competitive, he said that too. Nishikata in one of the episodes or one of the chapters, he said that every time I get bullied or teased by uh uh
Takagi.
Takagi, well, I'm getting them all confused now. I'm gonna do like 10 push-ups. So then that went on, and then the next thing you know, he's hella ripped. He's got 6 pack because that's how much he got picked on. So yeah, so the point that's the point is that he pushed back in his own way, but Nagatoro Senpai he just takes it, he just takes it. And as a result, that's a lot of the things that I remember. I didn't know that that's how it started, but a lot of like the things that I've always seen from Nagatoro have always been like excerpts from chapters, so it's already like in the middle of a story or something. So like one of them is that she's like sending him pictures of her in the bath and all of that, and she's all like, "Oh, he's never gonna see anything," and all of that, and then he's all like, "Yo, you know your camera's on, right?" And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And then she sees everything, or
Yeah.
like things where she thinks she's like getting a laugh and she just screws it up,
Hmm.
and he's just all like, "Yo, you're embarrassing yourself," and then that embarrasses her, and yeah,
Yeah. It's usually something like that. Accidental embarrassment.
and she gets her comeuppance basically.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, by the way, the voice actress for Nagatoro is going to be Uesaka Sumire.
That's right. Okay.
Or I
Yes.
think some people know her as Sumipe or something like that.
Yes. Sumipe. Yes. 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 That's
Or
right.
for you Bang Dream fans, Chisato.
Yes.
So, yeah, everybody's favorite bassist from Pastel Palettes.
She's kind of a minor Aoyuki. She likes to tease a lot and shenanigans.
Oh,
Which
does she?
yeah. She's kind of a jokester, prankster.
Cool, cool.
But yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Don't know if that's who was playing her in the commercial though.
Could be. She was an Aho girl. She was a student council president. Hey, big booby president. Damn, that's student council. Ooh. Well, she was disciplinary committee, wasn't she?
Yeah, disciplinary.
She was disciplinary committee.
Yeah.
That's different. Because I don't think disciplinary committee is under the student council. They're two different factions.
So they have gang wars.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the student council. They might like interact. Like the student council will dispatch the disciplinarian committee, but like I know the disciplinary committee. That's like prisons, high school. I think, right? If I remember right. I've never seen Prison High School. Go figure.
Prison School.
Yeah, Prison School.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
But they operate as like two factions. But yeah, um, that Sumipe has been in a couple of shows. With Saka as Sumire.
Yeah.
But I'll always remember her as Fubuki from Kansai Collection. That was my first exposure to her. But yeah. And then she sang the opening song, the closing, the ending to Shimoneta. So there you
Oh,
go.
did she?
And she's in the music video too.
Nice.
So when you're watching a Bang Dream and you're like, wow, she can sing. There you go. She's had experience. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. And it's the last of the big three teases.
Yeah.
So, but
Saving the most intense for last.
right, yeah, because I think we did the spectrum before. It was like Takagi's on the far left end, and then in the middle is
Uzaki.
Uzaki, and then on the right is Nagatoro, and it's like the extremes basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the other thing too, and it's like this guy Senpai breaks down and cries and just kind of deals with it. Senpai and Uzaki, he definitely fights back. He doesn't care, man. He'll fight back everybody. And then you have Nishikata, who she actually doesn't really push him to get that like emotional response. If anything, uh, Takagi's pushing or teasing of Nishikata just motivates him to actually do more or do something he wasn't going to do before. So
Right.
yeah, so he doesn't lash out at Takagi or anything like that. He actually is motivated to be better, do better. Yeah. So
Nice.
and obviously you've seen the memes of their daughter saying, "Daddy, Daddy, look, I did something." Then you have his shocked face, like what? So yeah, so yeah, Takahashi Rie played a milf. Takagi, go figure.
Nice.
So, but yeah, no, Nagatoro. I look forward to it. I actually that's one of the reasons why I stopped trying to like get involved with the manga and I didn't buy the manga off Amazon is because I knew the anime was coming. So I'm like, I'll just wait.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be a blind reaction from me, but I'm still going to watch it. Definitely going to do reactions for it, just to kind of see if there's any differences.
Yeah,
I think that's the only thing I can really do now is compare the manga and the anime
right.
to see if maybe they've changed something or if they're following it pretty straightforward. Kind of, from what I understand, Kaguya is pretty straightforward with the anime as
With the
far as
trans,
the manga.
yeah, yeah. I heard they took some liberties on the trial sequence between in Inner Kaguya. That bitch Kaguya was more like just getting his pants already. More, yeah. But I can also understand how they would want to adjust that.
Yeah.
So, so that would, yeah. But yeah, um, yeah. It's actually a good call too that you brought this up because the whole teasing aspect is a big thing in Japan and Japanese school culture too. So
Yeah.
that's why we have disciplinary committees in the student council. So, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, actually going back too, that's one of the ways that I said this too when we were talking about Kaguya is that that's why I thought it was adorable was that when they put the kick me sign on Ino Miko as she was standing up for Ishigami and he just casually walks by and just pulls it right off her back. And it's all like bully culture is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then you saw that she was the literally the fun police and no one wanted to be her friend as a result. So bully culture is a big thing too in Japan. So but yeah,
Yeah, it's a problem everywhere.
true.
I don't know how bad it is in Japan. So
It
probably pretty bad.
I would assume because of their competitive nature that it can get out of hand, but you know they do their best. Like you said, it's everywhere it could be a problem. It doesn't take much to spark or get out of hand, but it's pretty out in the open over there, I would say.
Yeah.
But again, that's their nature. Their nature is always to strive, do better, try harder, and yeah.
Yeah.
And in this case too, it also works too because like you said, she gets so possessive
Yeah.
of people, so it's all like, well, if you don't like them, then and then just like, no, I never said that. Break your hand. It's like, but you don't like him. Shut up.
I think there was one chapter because this is all from the first book. um, where he realizes that he's the only one that she picks on
Mm.
because he was at a family restaurant just getting something to eat. He was like, "This is far away from the school. I won't run into Nagatoro or anything." But she ended up going there anyway with her friend uh, Yoshi.
Okay.
This was before they showed their faces. Her face was still kind of shadowed out, and she was actually talking.
Mhm.
So you know it's not how she was now. And these two guys, and I guess they were both in a band, but the one that was trying to hit on Nagatoro wrote the songs and everything, and he's trying to act like a big shot, and he's thinking to himself, "You don't know what you're getting into. She's gonna lay into you so hard," and she's just like, "I don't really get the song.
Hmm.
Like it just sounds generic to me. You know, just didn't really lay into him. Just said something like that, but it was enough to make the guy feel stupid." And then the other guy shows up, and he's trying to hit on her, and he's saying kind of rude, sexual things, and she's like, "We just met. Why are you talking like this to me? You know, I barely even know you." Made him feel stupid too, so they both left. And he's like, "Why didn't she start really digging into them?" And he's like, "Am I the only one that she does this to?" Yes, because as soon as she saw him, she started picking.
And I'll do it.
So yeah, another definite show of she likes him. She wouldn't pick on anybody else.
That's right. It's only the special one gets that kind of treatment.
Yeah,
It'll be a good show. Definitely one. Said next year, right?
I think next year. Yeah. Let me see. Does this show a date? Um, it says not yet. As
Not yet
far as
available. It's 2021.
yeah, just next year.
All right.
So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah, especially since Uzaki is running out of its course, and Uzaki kind of laid the groundwork too. I mean, well, Takagi was the first one, but like I said, everyone knew of Uzaki because of the design. So, which is funny too, because people made fun of Takagi too because of her big ass forehead. But at the same time too, I think that lost out because it was Takahashi DA, and you know how she sounds so soft and gentle and all of that. So people kind of got over it. But then Uzaki was just like, she's obnoxious and she has a bad design. She sucks. Ah, she's a cancer that's killing anime. Ah, and it's like, actually, no, she's not that bad. She's a pure maiden.
Yeah,
So no, you're wrong. But Nagatoro, I think you're right. I think Nagatoro is really gonna split people because people are gonna be like, she's overly aggressive and she's annoying and she's a terrible person, and everyone's gonna be like, she's just being tsundere, man. What's your problem?
yeah.
So
This is her way of showing she likes this dude.
yeah. And then on top of that too, the instances where she does, like I said, get embarrassed inadvertently, she gets her just desserts, she gets her comeuppance.
Hmm.
If you people make it to that far, they'll be like, ha ha ha, stupid bitch, like Dennis and Always Sunny.
Yeah, where he's eating his cereal in the car.
Yeah. But yeah,
Speaking of embarrassing herself, she did accidentally grab his crotch once.
yeah. Accident.
They were he bought a manga
Okay.
that had it was like a Shonen Jump magazine, and it was looking forward to this one chapter for this one series that had the hot spring episode
Hmm.
or chapter in it,
Okay.
and he's all getting excited, and then Nagatoro walks in and she finds it, and she's picking on him. "Oh, you're reading this for the lewd stuff, aren't you?" And he's like, "No, I like the story. It's funny." And she goes, "No, you're not. You like it because of all of this stuff, right?" And they start pulling back and forth on the book. They end up falling over, and usually in that kind of situation for an anime, he would have a hand on a boob or something,
Right.
but she had her hand on his crotch. And
Next year, it's gonna be good.
then all she could do is go, "Is that the first time anybody's ever touched you there?" How was it? Huh? Huh?
Playing it off.
Yeah, like using that as a way to tease him.
I think we're discovering Roman's king for women that talk shit. Now it's Nagatoro, and then previously it was Tomoko. Tomoko, sorry. Watamote.
Oh, yeah, I do like Tomoe.
She talks smack.
She's funny. It
Does.
just sucks that the chapters don't come out that often.
Yeah.
I think it's like once a month or something.
No, that's brutal. That's oh.
I don't know if maybe they're trying to extend it because it's getting. I don't know if it's going to go past high school or not. Kind of seems like it because they're setting up college, but I don't know if they're just going to end it after high school and you're just going to have to imagine what happens in college.
Tomoko is awful, and she's awful in college. She never finds happiness. The end. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's still looking for a boyfriend, so
No, no, with an attitude like that, how could she be single? But okay.
but going by the way the series is heading, she might end up with a girlfriend. So.
Hey. There you go. Add that to the list of shows that deserve second season.
Yeah, Wantamote definitely deserves a second season, people.
Yes.
I know a lot of you thought that it was too close to home, but still.
I think the more that these shows like that and Rental Girlfriend come out and Nagatoro, the more I think it's gonna start breaking people's shells. I think so. I'm
Yeah,
all for it. I say do it. And if it makes you feel a particular way, well, I hope you learn from it. That's my advice.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to Nagatoro next year. So
Oh, since you kept bringing it up that the guy keeps just taking it,
yeah,
his reasoning was that he gets bullied so much that it's
it's whatever.
just whatever. He just kind of deals with it.
Hmm. You gotta be like my homeboy in Uzaki, man. Fight back. Except when she went on that rant about mint chip ice cream, then he actually genuinely respected her. So
Yeah, he was
yeah.
like, "Well, okay, nice little rant there." But yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that next year.
Next year, let's do it.
Hmm.
That'll be on the podcast, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. Just hope they announce a date soon so I can actually plan. Not that my plans ever work out, but it's nice to think it's going to. All right, so I think that's about it, right?
Yeah, that'll wrap it up.
Yeah,
I think everyone got the point about high school shows.
high
A little
school
bit of
shows.
diversity and different angles of high schools and their how they're depicted in animes.
There was a, as I was talking, there was a series I was like, I should have talked about this one, and I was like, nah, I'll save that for the next manga episode.
Which one do you have in mind? Give us the preview.
I'll just give you the title. You'll know which one I'm talking about when I give you the title. The 100 girlfriends who really,
Mm,
really, 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 really love you.
okay. Yeah, you've sent some screenshots or pages, I should say. But yeah, okay. All right, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. It was funny because I was reading a comment, I think it was a Twitter comment. Somebody was saying something about harem shows, and this one dude was like, "I'm reading one where the guy's gonna have 100 girlfriends." I was like, "I'm
Animate
not the only one."
animate that one. And the other one where the mangaka can't draw unless she's touching herself. Animate that one.
Oh yeah, I did send you that, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah.
The
You
manga artist
you
that
you sent me that, and then Kimmy sent me that. So everyone knows what I'm all about. So yeah.
I don't know how that'd go over though. That'd have to be a late night show.
Oh, they can make it happen because again, it's not. They don't show anything, so it's not like oh great. So nothing that they haven't done in the Edo manga sensei. So
I don't know. I never seen that.
yeah, yeah. Same universe as Oreimo.
It's another one I haven't seen.
I haven't seen Oreimo. I've seen Edo manga sensei, but yeah.
I've seen the first episode
See, you've seen more than I have.
because I was in the anime club in college,
Mm-hmm.
and they watched the first episode. And I was like, okay, but I didn't watch anything else.
Watch Edo manga sensei. It's better. I haven't even seen Oreimo, but I'll still tell you that it's better.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, the main character makes the wrong choice at the end of that one. So
I heard that.
I'm not saying how, because there might be people who haven't seen it as well and may be planning on watching it. So that'll be up to you to decide if he made the wrong choice or not. So yeah, I think that's it for our back to school anime discussion.
Mm.
Uh, what are some of your favorite high school, junior college, whatever school related anime
Yeah,
or manga?
yeah.
Um, if there's one out that you've been reading that isn't an anime yet, tell us about it. I'm always looking for new manga. You know, I need more stuff to read.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious when the topic of high school based shows or animes, mangas come up, what do people think about? And again, I mentioned that too like 2 hours ago, but like Persona. Persona actually was such a big influence that Valkyria Chronicles took that like high school setting and made that for Valkyria Chronicles too.
Oh,
They made
really?
it into a training academy, yeah, where you got to make classmates and then your friendships affect the story and yeah.
Hmm.
So, Persona, the Shin Megami, well, particularly Persona, always had to do with high schools. So,
Okay.
so yeah, so yeah, I sound off. Talk, what's up?
Yeah, yeah.
When you think high school or school-based anime, manga, all that, what do you think of?
Hmm.
Curious to see what people think.
And if you've seen any of the ones that we talked about, what were your thoughts about
And if you don't think that like Kanu and Chaun are like badasses and Ikitosen, tell me which one then. Tell me who you pick in Ikitosen. Let's go. Who's your wife?
them? That
So
sounds like a challenge to me.
yeah, I don't think I don't.
Like
Watch
you're
out.
getting kind of aggressive
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm very passionate about my Dynasty Warriors, man.
So again, next week we'll most likely be doing not next week, but next time we'll most likely be doing our season wrap up.
Yes.
So expect I don't know if we'll do a long discussion on all of them, but definitely the main shows that
Mm.
people seem to be more interested in. Maybe touch on some of the other ones, but stuff like Uzaki, ReZero will probably get more discussion time than say I don't know Misfit or something, because I'm like the only one that's really interested in Misfit.
I'm so. Oh yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it all out. But yeah, look forward to that, and
Viewing.
then a couple weeks after that we'll do our impressions on the new season.
Yes. Viewing party next Thursday, the 24th.
Yep, yep.
Um. Yep. Blend S.
First four eps.
First four.
I've never seen it, so
Spoil it. Spoil it for Roman.
don't.
Don't spoil it. But yeah.
Please.
All right. All right.
Okay. So until next time, bye.
Take it easy.